Hello and welcome to a live stream of DC Studios podcast here on Multiverse of Color / DC podcast. For any of our longtime listeners and viewers, I know it's been a hot minute, but we're back. I'm Andy B, as always, one of your hosts, and today has finally arrived. Superman is finally playing theaters in pretty much most countries at this point, and we are live on the Multiverse of Color YouTube channel as well as the DC Podcast YouTube channel, and we're gonna be having a huge panel of people to talk about James Gunn Superman movie that we've been all been waiting for now 3 years almost. It feels it's been longer than that because of all the strikes. But for everyone who's showing up, thank you so much. Hope you're having a great Friday. I will remind everyone that this will be spoiler filled. We are going to talk about spoilers for Superman. So if you haven't seen it yet, bookmark this. Go watch the damn movie first in theaters, and then come back and watch it. So I'm going to be bringing on some of our great panelists. I'm joined by a lot of amazing people that are coming together to discuss the true beginning of James Gunn's DC universe. So first, I'm going to start. If you guys saw last week, I was on my good friend Ben's stream at Real Anarchy, and I felt let's do another crossover and have him come over to us. So it's my honor to welcome Ben to DC Studios podcast. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you for what.
Of course. Anytime. I always love talking about these things with you, and
yeah.
You've been very busy these last couple of months. Like you've been doing so many live streams and covering all the latest stuff with DCU, and it's been so much fun to tune into. And I had so much fun last week having the healthiest discussion I've had, I feel, about DC and Superman all year because you all know that Twitter out there be crazy.
Yeah.
So. And then also, secondly, I want to also welcome. If you guys saw, we have a brand new intro credit sequence. And if you know his name, listen. Like if you're in the nerd space, you've seen his work before. He's the founder of the Multiverse of Color logo. He's now put together this latest creation. So I'm gonna welcome Mr. Julian Bell to DC Studios podcast. Julian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Andy.
Of course. You've also been busy with lots of Superman edits over the last 2-3 years. I feel like you've been doing a lot of cool creations. So guys, I'm sure if you go on Instagram or TikTok, you've probably seen him and been like, "Oh my, this is amazing!" But then you're gonna realize who he is. But now here's a voice to the artist. Another huge DC fan who I remember when the DCU got announced properly, even earlier, whatever. So I feel like he was right there on the spot, and he created this fun community that I have loved working with him, and I love what he's been doing. And again, the thing is, I almost get jealous because he's so much younger than me. So I'm just kind of like, damn, this freaking kid has already accomplished so much, for being someone driving a fan community. So I would like to welcome Cole, aka Home of DCU. Hello, Cole.
Hello. How are you? Good. How are you?
I'm good. You're on camera.
I know. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm actually real.
So as you can tell, it's not a bot. There's a person behind the account.
I'm actually paid, just a paid bot.
All of us are. We all are.
I'm one of those monkeys, and I don't. Should we get to spoilers already?
I think it's okay. To say there's monkey in it. I'm just, let's see. Yeah, restart. But yeah, I know you just came back from seeing Superman for second rewatch. Okay, so Ben, how many times have you seen it at this point?
Twice. I watched it yesterday again. Yeah, for a second time.
And Julian?
Just a solid one time.
Okay, I finally got to see it today. I was not lucky to see it early, but we will discuss it later. But I also want to bring on one more person who a last minute addition. But I am so thrilled. And listen, for anyone, if you followed Smallville back in the day, you know that this man is like an Superman expert on so many stuff. And then of course everything he's done for the DC TV community over the last 12 years, 13 years since they were started. You know him as KSI TV, Green Arrow TV, Flash TV News, Gotham Side, Titans TV, but I think you also may know him as Craig Byrne, aka Krypton Side.
Or
Welcome, Greg.
crypto site. No, I'm just kidding.
Crypto Side. Well,
That's not a
welcome,
real
man.
thing.
That's not a real. Well, April Fool always exists next year.
This is true.
This is true.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're gonna have some more people joining us in a bit, and so we will have lots to discuss. But everyone, welcome. How does it feel that we're finally here? Is it also me or has this wait felt longer than 3 years because of because of COVID, because of the strike and everything? Like it feels like it's been way longer than it actually has been.
It has felt a little bit long, since the announcement, because I think the amount of news that we were getting weekly made the whole process felt longer. Like when this movie is gonna come, because like every week was always some news coming out, and there was a faction that said this is terrible, and there's another faction that this is the best thing ever, and that created some tiredness about the whole process, and it kind of felt like it was a long process to get this film on cinemas. Did you feel that way, that it felt long, or
who were you asking, me or
you?
Yeah, no, I felt like, I mean, and it's something having seen, because we've all seen like how the era of the DCU was, where like I felt like there were always a lot of announcements, but then like how much of it really paid off in the end. Like there was, because again it was this movie is in development, this TV show is in development, and now this director is joining the project, and this director is leaving the project, and there's now this rewrite. So like, but I feel like that you can tell it is a different era, and and I feel like now that listen, like Superman has been off to a great start. 55 million on preview, and it's doing great on Rotten Tomatoes, and it has still a lot of. Has China had its release yet for Superman, or is that coming?
So yeah.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday. Was it today? No, it was yesterday. I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's going to be exciting to see how this goes. But like my theater was packed in a way that it hasn't been for a very long time. Like because the last thing I went to was Thunderbolts, and it was maybe like 7 people.
Same here.
My Thunderbolt screening was packed, and we had a good time.
Well, Thunderbolts it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong,
I
it's
love
a good
that movie.
Yeah. I really don't understand why it didn't make as much as it should have been, but
I think it was the marketing. I think they just didn't know how to market that film, because the whole thing with the asterisks and then changing the name.
Yeah, the new Avengers stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Definitely a hard one to market for sure.
Yeah. I live in a. This is not indicative of the entire United States. I live in a very in a small town in PA. And when I went to watch, there's been a couple of movies that I've gone to watch on the weekend that it opens, and this is the first time that I've been to a film where it's almost full house. I even ran into my sister and her son, so which she lives like a couple of blocks from here. So I don't know if that's indicative that it's doing much better than anticipated, but it's just something that I kind of pay attention. Oh, gotta be in here. I gotta be in my office. So I don't know if that's any indication whether the movie's gonna perform for far more better than expected.
Craig, were there a lot of kids at your screening?
No, I did one of those Amazon Prime Fandango things, and it was mostly just adult nerds, including myself.
Okay.
Yeah, for that one it was, for me too.
Yeah. No, I did sit next to a kid in my theater, and like he was like so in, like he was like really into it. Like I don't like there was a time where I like turned around and he just looked amazed, and I'm like, this is what's so
That's
fun. Like
the
kids
movies made for them.
Sorry.
That's who the movie's made for. The kids who've never seen a Superman thing before and are
Yeah.
discovering it for the first time. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, but no, it's like, again, this has been a very fun week. There's the cast has been doing lots of interviews and marketing, and this cast has been flying around, like, I feel like different planets at this point. But we're gonna get into the Superman movie, and like I said at the beginning, this is gonna be spoiler filled, guys. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to pause this. Go freaking get a ticket right now. It's playing in theaters near you. No, Warner Bros. Did not pay me to say that, believe it or not. And then you come back and then you listen to us talk about Superman. So I want to start just with first, just overall impressions, kind of like ease into the discussion. So Ben, again, I know you saw it. You've seen it twice now. But when you saw it the first time, what was the takeaway you had leaving that theater?
When I saw the first time, I loved it. And the only reason why I watched it a second time is because I felt like, what if I feel this way because it's this new shiny thing that I'm getting, and I need to really get a better perspective for the film and go and watch it so I needed to go and watch it a second time, because when I watched Justice League, the Josh Whedon cut, when I came out of the movie theaters, I was happy. I was, I didn't know better, but I was like, oh man, I got a Justice League movie, whatever. And then I watched it a second time. I was like, oh no. So, but when I went a second time around, I felt, knowing what I knew, it felt like I had a better experience, and I enjoy it. Like it felt like it has a lot of rewatchability value. So there's a lot of things that I picked up on the second time around that I didn't pick up on the first time around, and that being one of them. I think I enjoy the third act, and actually no, I enjoy the beginning far more the second time around than I did the first time, because now I understood where I was in this universe. Because you had to buy into. There was like a period where you had to buy into what this movie is about. But by that time, I already bought into, so it allowed me to enjoy the film a little bit more.
Julian, I know you took a lot of people with you when you told me that you booked like 7 seats or something.
I got 10 seats.
I'm sorry.
I got 10 seats, but yeah.
Damn.
I started the same mindset as Ben. Like the first time I usually go into it, I'm just there for the vibes, and I usually leave happier. And I don't really look at it from an objective point of view. But for the most part, I heavily enjoyed it. It really did feel like Superman.
Craig, for you, you've someone who's covered just so many different Supermans now over the last 20, almost 30 years now. Like,
Gosh,
going to see.
Thanks for telling everybody I'm old.
I'm old too. Like, listen, Cole.
I think I'm older than everybody here.
I turned 32 this October. Craig, you are.
I'm turning 52.
Answering.
Okay, Ben, how old are you?
Are you older than me? I'm 52. I'm gonna be 52.
Okay, I'm younger than you.
Yeah.
See, I knew I was the oldest.
But Craig, really, you as someone who's covered 3 decades of Superman and so many different iterations, like going to see this Superman, what was your first impressions leaving that theater?
It's interesting because my first impression was not knowing what I thought of it. Like, it wasn't really until I wrote my review on Krypton site today that I really organized it all together, because there were some things that didn't totally work for me, but there was a lot that really landed for me really well. Like, I mean, just the fact that this Superman is a good guy. I love that. He loves his dog. He loves Lois. He loves his parents. I think there's something really charming about that. And also, I appreciated that there was some subtle messaging in the movie that tied it all together. Like, in my opinion, the second half of the video is the Kents, not Jor-El telling him to conquer or anything like that. So, it's like, he may have
Nice
been
way to
born
put
in
it.
Krypton, but he's a human of Earth. And I think the notion that he has human feelings and he has human frustrations is good. But I also appreciated that he would do the right thing because he wants to save lives. And I think that's really cool too. So I was very happy with those aspects. I have decided that I too want to see it a second time at some point. I have not yet, but I'm sure I can form an even better opinion after that.
Cole, you because you were texting me literally when I was in the theater. You were texting me like second go, and I'm like, if this boy texts me one spoiler, because I was like, I thought I turned on flight mode, but your message glow up, and I'm like, if I see one message from him that has a spoiler, and I'm gonna lose my mind. So thank you for not. Thank you for not spoiling it. But it was fun that like where I was and where you were, like we were watching not together, but we were watching at the same time. So I thought that was like sweet. So what was your first impression seeing? Because you've been waiting for this movie so long, Cole. Like you followed every rumor, every news that's come out, like and like you get so excited. You bring so like again, like if you're in his Discord, for example, like there's always conversations going on. So tell me what was that first impression for you?
It was like, I agree with all you guys. Like, you kind of leave that theater with like, oh my gosh, did I just like witness this? And like, you need to like, I was like, I need to rewatch this like right now. And then after my second one, I need to rewatch it again. But it's like, it's just so unbelievable that like after, oh my gosh, over a decade of like no Superman on the big screen, and just seeing that, and just him actually like saving people, and like that's just like unbelievable to me. I was pleasantly surprised about how political it got, because in this day of age, you don't normally see like blockbusters or comic book movies or blockbusters take political stances, and I think it didn't disappoint, and it didn't like, I don't know, it was like not too much, but it was there and it just hits you, and I thought that was good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, again, because I knew going into it, I was like, I think I'm gonna really have a good time with this. I mean, I know some of you guys, what happened to me today, so and I will leave it at that. So like, I had that going on, so I try to just keep, but that film really distracted me from all that, and just sitting there and like I'm thinking, wow, this is why I love what I do. Like this is why I love this genre, like because I believe that film and TV is primarily. I think subtle messaging is very. I think in themes and stands I think they're good to have to a certain degree, but I think film and TV has always served as a way for escapism. And with Superman, first of all, the movie felt longer than they actually were like saying it was, and I'm like, and I still left like, oh, I could have done it with 30 more minutes. Like, I could have done it a little bit longer. But yet I still felt like, wow, like I got to really escape into a world where, like, yeah, there's some parallels, but like, it's not like in your face. It's, they're showing you, they're telling you, no, they're showing you, not telling you. And I think that's, I think that's very important. So for me, like, what I want for superhero and comic book properties from now, like I want it to be like the experience I had watching Superman, like that feeling of, again, of course, feeling inspired, feeling hope, of course, all of that, but also feeling the fact that that we're elevating these characters that we've grown up with in one way or form, whether it's just like Unlimited or like the cartoons or like the other live action shows or past live action movies or comics or video games, whatever you want to go with. I think that's like I hope Superman sets a new standard for I like not just Marvel, but like for how they're gonna do things with DC, and and I mean at some point maybe like indie comic adaptation at some point. I think that should be something we get to at some point. But let's get into. I want to talk. One of my. I want to talk about that was like when I was in the theater and thinking like, okay, this is one of the first things I want to talk to everyone about is, of course, the cast. We now have our new Superman. We have our new Lois Lane, our new Lex Luthor. You know, the entire Daily Planet staff is there. They're all there, and you know we have a whole new DCU with heroes we've seen before in live action, some heroes that we've never seen before in live action, some villains as well. So, Craig, I want to start with you. What were some of the takeaways from the performances from Superman?
Well, you were speaking about the Daily Planet group in particular, and one of my disappointments in the movie was not enough Wendell Pierce as Perry White. He is so good on Elsbeth, but I will say that he had some of the best like lines when he did get lines, like the bit about them going around the corner. So how long have they been together? That made me crack up. I thought that was fantastic. Of course, I love Cat Grant. Would have liked more Cat as well, but I think the biggest standout to me, besides of course David as Superman, was Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Like I loved that she asked questions and she challenged things, even if I might not have personally agreed with her. I think that's a very Lois Lane thing to do, to separate herself from the story and ask those questions that the audience might be asking, or, you know, in this case, her readers. And I think it just shows why Lois Lane is such a great journalist. And I don't know that we've really had really good journalist Lois Lane in movies in a while. So I thought that was fantastic. Thought both David and Rachel had such great chemistry together. Loved Mr. Terrific. I mean, I'm like, does this world even need Batman when they've got Mr. Terrific? Like, he's got all the good gadgets. Screw you, Batman, you're weird. But I will say that the other Justice Gang people, even Guy, who was a larger-than-life personality, I felt that they were kind of superfluous, which might have been on purpose. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't like Batman v Superman where they're trying to spin everybody off into their own movies. But it still felt like, do we really need them? And yeah, and I loved how country the Kents were. Jonathan and Martha, they were a lot of fun. They seemed like human people, and that informed who Clark is. And I thought that was really powerful. But I mean, we got a movie where Superman loves Lois, he loves his dog. I mean, how can you go wrong?
I mean, did he love Crypto? Because there were times when my
he was trying to keep him safe.
You have you have to love that dog in order to tolerate him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I like the way that I'm gonna just buy so much Crypto merchandise. Like my wallet is definitely not gonna be closed. You know who you are. You know who you are. And clearly the wallets weren't closed because look at its opening night. Just saying. Ben, what were some of your takeaways from the cast? Because this is a huge cast.
Yes, I love every single one of them. Like nobody phoned it in. Everybody bought into this movie. They brought the A game. Doesn't matter if they have one line or two line. I love the Kents. Ma Kent, she melted my heart every time she was on screen. Pa Kent. There is something about, which probably we're going to discuss, about the controversy about the Kents and his Kryptonian parents. I guess we could talk about that. But to piggyback of Craig, Mr. Terrific was my absolute favorite. And James Gunn knew he was not going to put Batman into this film. So he was like, what's the best next fucking thing than Batman? Let me put in Mr. Terrific. And he fucking just like, to me, when he did the whole thing with the T-spheres and his eyes turned white, my theater gasped, like, so I was like looking around. Oh, so there's some nerds here like me because they know. So I was like, awesome, because just days before, people were asking about the white eyes. I was like, why people are so obsessed with the white eyes? I don't care. But when I saw it, when he did it, I was like, oh my god, It's doing a thing. So yeah, Mr. Terrific was absolutely my standout. I also didn't like that Wendell Pierce didn't get more time, and also Hawk Girl didn't get a lot of screen time. To be honest, when I watched it the second time, I feel that there's another additional 30 minutes into this film that was cut out. Like I got a feeling like there is more that I don't want to get into this, but it feels like a BBS situation where they wanted to cut down the time just to fit in as many people into the movie theaters as much as they can and keep it on the 2 hours. But it still worked for me. Like as a film, I had a great time. I had a fun time. I love everything about this film, but I feel like there is more. Like, and yes, you can risk it being too long because there are some films that are a little bit longer and they move fast, but there are some movies that are shorter and it feels like it's going on forever. But this film was so fast-paced. The second half, it felt like, damn, no, I think there's something missing in this scene. Like there is a scene where I'm like watching her taking Superman to Kansas. I was like, where is that little conversation where you like? I gotta make the connection. Like, okay, Mr. Terrific knows that's Superman, so he knows. You have to make that little exercise to know the ship or Mr. Terrific told her about her parents that lived in Kansas because she didn't know at that point. And so there is a lot of stuff that I'm like, no, there is more to this here. There's more to this in this other scene, like with the parents, with even with with Justice Gang, the stuff that I'm like, there's more to this. And
yeah, Club sort of just brought up a great point. They cut a scene where Mr. Terrific is giving dog treats to Crypto.
Yes, no, they used that for that commercial. They used that for a treat commercial. I saw that. I was like, wait, where's that? Yeah.
I really thought that was for the movie because
they shot commercials during the filming of the film, so that way they can keep.
Yeah, I do feel like if I'm remembering the timeline of the film correctly, like if that was in there, it kind of wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
because like when he calls Crypto and he's fighting Ultraman, like he's coming out of that store where that commercial happens. Takes place.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mentioned, it would have been kind of like like the freaking black hole is like tearing the city apart. He's like, "Come to Crypto, come here." Yeah. But go on, Ben.
But I think I was finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
New Rachel makes a great point. Edie finally gets a good super movie after he was done 30 minutes before in X-Men First Class.
Redemption.
Yeah. And and now potentially Mr. Terrific is getting a spinoff. If the Wall Street Journal report is true, but we will talk about it later. Julian, what were some of the standout performances from this cast?
Oh wow, for me it really is Ma and Pa Kent. I think every scene that they shared with Clark and with us, I was absolutely captivated. I love them. I love them together. I love their, connection with Clark. On top of that, Mr. Terrific, as always. He is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would also love to say the chemistry between Lois and Superman. Phenomenal. It's been a hot minute since we've seen great chemistry between those two. Yeah.
Cole, what about you? How what stood out to you with this cast?
What stood out to me the most was, like Julian was saying, David and Rachel's chemistry. It was like they were just like meant for each other. And I personally love Anthony Carrigan. He didn't get too much to shine in this movie. He had some cool visual effects. I would have loved to see a little bit more out of Anthony, but I'm also biased from my Gotham and Barry fan side of things. Pa Kent got me crying both watches, and I thought that he had like just a few lines, and just those few lines literally just hit you.
Yep.
So strong.
Yeah, when when Paul Kent was saying like, like don't be a stranger, come by and visit a little more often. Like I even felt guilty about like not seeing my own folks enough. So like I'm like, okay, I mean, luckily I was with my dad today, but for very different reasons. But no, I mean, listen, like I love Clark Kent. I love Lois Lane in pretty much every media iteration, almost. Let me correct myself. Who that is, figure it out. But like David and Rachel, like I want, like, because I know they said that the interview scene was like I think that was their screen test, and I kind of want to go back and see like when they weren't cast, I want to see like what was that tone like. But like they were, listen, like, you have to get close, right? Like you absolutely have to get close. Like the way I felt about them is like how I felt when I see Tom Welling and Eric Durance, right? But when I see Taro Hecklin and Bitsy Tulloch.
Yeah.
I still am trying to get used to the fact that like I'm supposed to be saying Bitsy, like, and even like when like with Henry and Amy Adams, like I felt that, they were so sweet in in their first movie and BBS, and so
I don't think they had chemistry.
Not like like in comparison,
they did.
In comparison, not as much.
This is not me taking a shot at Man of Steel. Man of Steel to me, it's in a category of its own. But I think the chemistry between them two wasn't there as people make it out to be.
I think it's good. I don't know if it's like flawless. And I think like if someone put a gun to my head like after 2013, like Tom Welling, Eric Durant, or Henry Cavill and Amy Adams, I would say it's Tom and Erica all the way. And the thing that I want to say that like this movie feels like if I had to tweet #Smallville handshake #Superman movie. Like I feel like there's so much Smallville vibes and like Superman Lois vibes that they have that's the thing. This cast doesn't feel like we're just seeing 1978 all over again. Like it is, it's honoring what's come before, past characters and whatnot, but also giving us something we haven't already seen before. People are saying, like for example, like Dave and Rachel, like they are flawless, and I think it'd be fun to see them as Superman and Lois Lane for the next. I mean, assuming the world doesn't end, like 20 plus years or something. So, Nick, I'm so thrilled that we finally have a great movie Lex. We've never had it before.
Nope.
We never had it before.
Gene Hackman would like.
Okay, I thought.
Matt. Okay.
Oh, go on. Who was speaking?
Cole.
I mean,
Cole.
I thought. I don't want to go too much into other movies, but I thought Jesse's was interesting. I mean, I don't think he's a horrible Lex in hindsight because there are like interpretations that are like kind of spot on to what he was going for, but at the same time, it didn't really fit with even their universe, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I do not like that character. Well, no. Wait, I shouldn't say that. I didn't like what Jesse did with that character because whenever he speaks, and I'll try to tune him out and think about a better actor, what he would have done with those lines. Like that scene with him at the top of the roof with Superman, I could just imagine just any random better actor than him delivering those lines, and I would have been like, "Oh my God, this is the greatest Lex Luthor." But that performance, his take on that character was a complete misstep. I think it was a complete misstep from the casting all the way down.
Yeah, I want to make this clear. I want to make this clear before we continue that,
Sure.
because I want this to be like for everyone who's watching, like listen, like because I know that Twitter's been more intense than it ever has been when it comes to James Gunn fans, Zack Snyder. Here's the thing: most of us here. Not Craig, but like most of us here are Zack Snyder fans of the DC movie. He's made it clear. Like, I'm not outing him. Like he said it before that like he's not like he doesn't vibe with his Snyder, which is perfectly fine. Like, that movie is subjective.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, if we're looking at Nicholas Hoult, and I'm like, because the entire time I'm like, because some of the most important things with Lex Luthor is that he needs to scare me. He needs to be so intimidating that I'm like, I'm literally afraid of a man in a business suit and money. Like, I need, because that's the thing. Like, he is one of the most powerful people on the planet, and he doesn't have to have superpowers. And like, I'm so happy for Nicholas because again, like I think Nicholas Hoult is such an underrated actor.
Yeah.
Like listen, when it comes to X-Men, like Beast is one of my favorite X-Men of all time, and I feel like he was always just like a hanging thread in those films. I love him first class, and I'm like, but Beast is so much more. He's so much more in this. So like for Nicholas Hoult finally getting a role this meaty, and again, this is the thing. One of the things I saw in a lot of reviews was that they were saying that this is a very cartoony Superman movie, and I'm like, first of all, the comics are cartoon.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. But the second, it's like the fact that I never laughed at this legs, because that's the thing. Like when I watch Gene Hackman, and like I know everyone like has so much high regard for him, I can't take him seriously. I laugh every time because I'm like, why? Like real estate? This is what you're like. This is
Yeah,
But you can make the argument that Nicholas Holt's Lex was also after real estate in this movie.
Yeah.
But he was
That's
like
like-
countries.
I always find that interesting. Why is what's his obsession with freaking real estate?
I mean, it's better than making a Kryptonian island, a Kryptonite island. So that was the worst.
In theory, that's better because then you can have Superman come and invade you.
Yeah, but the island was so gross looking.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But
no, I was going to go back to the cast just for before I forget my thought.
Yeah.
I need a Metamorphosis spinoff. Like that was like the only thing I was like really frustrated with because I'm like, Metamorpho is such a cool character. We've never seen him in live action before, and I'm like, again, I mean, everything he was in, he was like absolutely killing it. But I'm like, can we have more? We finally have a good Hawker in live action. Only took us 2 baristas to get there.
Although she did mention coffee creamer in this movie.
That's
true.
It didn't become her character trait. Where all she talked about is like, I used to be a barista 5 months ago. Mr. Terrific, like I mean, like Edie, like I didn't expect Mr. Terrific to be so funny, but it's like again, it's not like forced comedic humor. It's more so that like his sardonic tone is just so funny in itself that I'm like, yeah, like you know what? Maybe we don't really need Batman, and
exactly.
I am.
Well, no, don't go that far now.
World's finest with Mr. Terrific and Superman.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I like.
I mean, that was their post-credit scene in the end. So, I don't know.
That Batman and Mrs. Terrific dynamic, I like that. I would love to see that.
The one, okay, so this was one of the most surprising because like I love Nathan Fillion through so many things that he's been in. Like, listen, like I grew up with I grew up with him as Hal Jordan. Even though Hal Jordan is not my Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion was my like first proper Green Lantern. Not sorry, Ryan Reynolds. And when it comes to Guy Gardner, everyone, because I've never read a Guy Gardner comic. Like I didn't really read Justice League International. I didn't really read like the stuff he's been in. But people have always been like, he is such a douche, Andy. I'm like, oh, okay. So I watched the movie and I'm kind of like, he's just a little cocky. Like I don't see what I mean. The hair is a douche. The hairdo is a douche. But like the character never felt like he was a douche because he felt like he could be smarmy and cocky and stuff. But like when shit like really mattered, like he got down to it. So like I don't know if I'm being too nice on Guy Gardner or I'm just missing something. But like I like again because I follow like we have to see Guy Gardner and then I have to wait a whole year to see Jon Stewart finally. But I was like, no, I actually now want to see more of Guy Gardner alongside other Green Lanterns. So that was fun. Mom Podcast. I mean, listen, like. I mean, who doesn't cry when Podkent like starts to stutter at the end? Okay, so like because I know this week has been like if you're a fan of Lois and Clark and Superman, we're all clowns right now. But one of the good takeaways from that show is that they let Ma and Podkent live the entire time. Because I was sitting like, one of them is gonna die. One of them's gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna be sobbing in my friend's lap and be like I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't take one of them dying because everyone was like, well, we barely see Martha in the trailer, so like, what if she's the one who's dead?
That's what I thought too.
And I was like, do we have to kill any of them? and they didn't, and I'm glad that they didn't because I think that. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say this is gonna be controversial. I think the whole killing Jonathan Kent that it has to be stable in all Superman origin stories is, I think it's exaggerated. I think that it fits some places. I don't think it fits everywhere.
Well, that's a Elseworld story, so
Yeah, so like I like again like these were very charming actors, and I mean I will say the only wing that threw me I was like Kent Farm ish. Like because again, like if you look at Craig's background, like I come from the world Smallville where we got the best Kent Farm in live action, so like but I get it, like this is a different world, so like
They
it
have
just
a
took me.
budget. The Kents have a budget. It's 2025. They can't afford
Yep.
a nice chill out now.
You know what? You know what? Honest to God, that's
they
true.
only have one cow.
One cow. Oh my God, there only was one cow because Crypto was playing like with one cow. Oh my.
That's right.
Wow, inflation's real, y'all.
Yeah, it's a real problem for Middle America.
We had some really fun. I want to say that the Daily Planet staff, like I don't know what, but James Gunn, like give me that Daily Planet spin-off and like a news.
That
Like these actors were so damn likable, and like that. I mean, even if you don't want to do a Daily Planet show, do a Lois Lane show. Do a Lois Lane show. Clark and
But how can you do a Daily Planet show without David in it?
Yeah, like,
well,
or
like,
you
like,
could. I guess you could just say he's. I don't know.
He could be a guest star. He could show up. He could show up like every once in a while, like maybe like through Steve and Kat. We followed them there as like sports and gossip reporters, and we put more focus on Lois. We see what Jimmy and Eve's life is like. Because oh my God, I was not expecting Jimmy Olsen and Eve Tessmacher to be like.
Yeah, that
why
took
is
me out.
like it's so funny, but I kind of like I wouldn't mind watching more.
I
love
didn't like that aspect of the movie because it seemed very misogynistic. That both
It was a little bit.
You were so crappy to her.
Yeah, and the whole thing about him having pet names for every girl, I was like, this is a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah, I missed that. It went so by quickly. Like that was like, but it's how like me and my friend were talking about it. He was like, yeah, he had a long list, and I'm like, yeah, that hopefully Jimmy will grow out of that. But like, yeah, I love that. You know what? I love that Eve wasn't just like she's smart and she lets on.
Yeah,
and I like that. And the fact that even though Lex is, he's obviously an abuser. That's the thing. Like Lex, like we're not supposed to be rooting for Lex. Like we're supposed to hate him for every freaking reason. Like when they got to the scene in the pocket dimension with all these people locked up, and we see one of his old girlfriends, I'm like, dude, this is rough. This is dark.
Yeah,
and like because this is like in a fantastical version of our world, that's what a billionaire tech lord like him would do.
Isn't that what that serial killer from Love does? Likes them up in a little.
You mean you?
Oh,
you. Yeah, you. Love is the same. The name
Joe
of the girl.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Love,
that shit is good.
I watch. I mean,
that's a good tactic.
No, but he did it for everybody, even people that wrote shit about him, because there was a writer right next to the Superman.
Oh, blogger.
Blogger who wrote some shit about him. I was like, oh damn, this dude. He doesn't take criticism very well.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, and this is kind of, I guess, like what the next one we can go into is that we've seen a lot of Superman adaptations, but I felt this is maybe like one of the most fantastical ones ever, where like things doesn't we don't have to have an explanation for why magic is or why science is or meta is the way it is. I love the fact that it's there.
It's just there.
Yeah, and so I want to. So let's Julie. Let's start with you. What did you think of the story as a whole? Because we again, like it is a Superman versus Lex Luthor story, but it's very different from what we've seen in previous years. Julian,
sorry, I was drinking. Story-wise,
no.
For the most part, I enjoyed it. I did feel like there was a lot of storylines that was trying to get resolved. and a few just didn't get resolved as clearly and as more defined as others. But for the most part, you said it yourself, it was very much a Superman versus Lex Luthor through and through story, with a lot of different sidelines connecting into it. And I think on the second watch, I can be a lot more objective, but for the most part, I enjoyed it.
Well, before I give it to the next person, I want to bring on someone. I've been, I tried to podcast with him back when, when he was Flash Film News. But so I'm excited he gets to be here. Again, he also huge drive in covering all things DCU and you name it. So I would like to welcome the one and only Alex from DC Film News. Hello.
Thanks for having me, Andy. Oh crap, Ben's here. All right, I'm out.
How are you doing, Alex?
I'm good. Good. Tired, but good.
Yeah, it's been a long week. I was gonna cut it to Cole, like in terms of story. So I probably will get to you about the other points as well. So Cole, story wise, what were some of your favorite aspects of what we saw Superman go through in this movie?
I mean, we saw a lot. I want to say the highlight for me in the story was kind of, I guess, take it for good or worse, the plot change with like Superman's parents, with Jor-El and Lara. That was kind of like the highlight because it was we don't see that often, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think my adventures with Superman did teed a little bit along those lines.
Correct.
But that was like the highlight for me. I thought the pacing was a little bit junky in the first act, but it really picks up like halfway through. Once we get to the what was it called, the Photon River sequence, like it just goes full on bolt, and you're just mesmerized the full way through.
Yep.
What about you, Craig?
So, again, I'm a big nitpicker. I apologize. I do know when the movie started, it was a bit slow for me because, like, I hated that we had to have, like, 3 paragraphs of backstory on the screen just to start the movie. And then I felt like all the scenes at the very beginning we had seen already in preview clips and that sort of thing. And I don't know about anybody else, but seeing it in IMAX, some of the visual effects were a little especially towards the beginning. But I liked the messaging. As far as the Jor-El messaging thing, I was big into Smallville. That Jor-El was always doing something weird. So, and I think he even hinted that Clark was there to conquer, or Clark assumed that's what it meant. So that was nothing truly new or shocking to me. I do think it's interesting that the people of this world easily turn on whoever. Like they turned on Superman, then they turned on Lex, just with one piece of news. We see how people like double down on horrible people these days. But I think the general story and just the message of, Clark's inherent humanity and goodness were very strong. And I know I left the movie, even though I said I didn't know what I thought of the movie, I still left the movie happy and encouraged because those final moments of the movie were just so good. So ultimately it was a success. I loved seeing the Daily Planet, of course. So it worked for me overall.
Ben, for you, what stood out to you for the story?
I'm not gonna ask Alex.
No. I'm gonna get to him so he gets to touch upon all the things we discussed previously. So I want to make sure that
like I know it's late for you. You have to go to bed, but still, come on.
Yeah, I'm old. We already discussed that, by the way.
Oh, I heard.
The whole thing about the Kryptonian, the changes that they made to his parents' backstory, I thought it played so well, especially when he was talking to Parkett, because he was doing what he was doing because of the message his parents from Krypton, his birth parents, sent him out to do here, and then he figured out that that wasn't really what they wanted him to do. And then he's sitting in front on the front porch with his earthly parents, where earthly father, and he said to him something that kind of struck me. I was like, oh my god, that he's right. And give me 1 second. Maybe go over there.
Is the bee back?
No, it's my daughter.
Oh, go. Okay.
Close the door, baby. What'd you say?
Sorry.
Go close the door, baby.
I do love
Thank
his
you.
background, by the way.
Anyway, so going back to being a good parent. So when he said to him, parents are not supposed to tell their kids what to do. We're just supposed to equip them so they can make their own stupid mistakes. I was like, yes, he gets it. And then it all came full circle at the end when he's just like, give me those little shots that soothes me. And it's all shots of him being a kid, being raised by the parents, his early parents. I was like this from ear to ear, because it was just like joy, because it's not about who brings you to the world, it's who raised you, who give you, love and give guidance and try to make you a better person. And I thought that was just a great way to put those two polar opposites there, which James Gunn said it from the beginning. It was about him dealing with his Kryptonian heritage and his human upbringing, and he chose to be who he is because of the human upbringing. So that's the best thing that I got out of the movie. All the action, and the subplots and all that stuff. Yes, this is amazing. But that was the one thing that kind of resonated with me in the entire film.
Well, now let's hear from you. I mean, we talked about like what we thought about the cast and what we thought about the story and our early impressions. So, give us your takes about what you got to experience for this film from at least the aspect that we discussed so far.
Oh, it was a complete mess. No, I'm kidding. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. It did have a lot of issues as a film. And I don't really want to nitpick too much of it, because I came in just wanted to see a Superman film. And I got what I wanted. I got the Triple H, Hope, Heart, and Heroics through in and throughout. And just seeing these characters living in this lived-in world and interacting not only with the citizens of Metropolis, but also just having other heroes just popping in and out without even knowing their backstories. It's just as if they've been there and there was no exposition, thank God, on each of them. And we accepted it. And Gunn did great on that aspect. And for the messaging, like, I agree with everyone when it comes to just with interaction with Clark and Pa Kent, but then more so on Clark's realization on why he may have been brought to Earth due to Jor-El's messaging, which I still think might be a bait and switch in the end. We could get into that later. But in this movie, we have Clark, who, even though he introduced himself as Superman to the world for, it's been 3 years.
3 years.
He, even though he's out there in the open, he still has created a self-isolation. He's the only one who interviews Superman. He created this whole worldview as to how the world views him. And of course, Lois Lane, being Lois, calls him out on that BS that he's created. And then it all falls around him once Jor-El's message goes out to the world. And now he is truly out. And he does feel even more isolated. But because of the upbringing he had with Pa Kent, just being good, that resonated with everyone, all the way down to the asshole himself, the GOAT, Guy Gardner, that something, we're going to go out there and save those people, irregardless of what the government thinks. And it all just tied together in the end.
Also, because I just want to get your take on it. What stood out to you with the cast? Because again, huge cast, lots of characters, and some of them we've seen them before in other media, but some of them this is the first time. So,
what is there to say with David Warnswood? The guy has cemented himself as not only the this generation Superman, but he provided a generational performance. So anyone coming in just viewing this film, if you're a fan of Christopher Reeves, Cavill, doesn't matter. You're going to love this man. And not only that, anyone who is being introduced, what a hell of a Superman to be introduced to.
Yeah.
And it's on and off the screen too, as well. So it's just a hell of a casting that they brought, that Gunn brought upon with him. And then, of course, just Rachel Brosnahan. What is there to say? There was no notes at all on her performance. The only thing I would say is I wish I saw a little bit more of her doing a little bit more in the film, but there was a lot going on. But for the material that she had and what she did, she took charge every time she was on the screen. And who else? Nathan Fillion. He was born to be. I always view him as Hal, but holy crap! The guy is born to be a Guy Gardner. I cannot wait just to see what shenanigans he's going to get into within Lanterns. I am hyped even more for that show because of this movie. And not only that, we have Mr. Terrific. I was hesitant on that character, not because I'm not a fan of the comics or Patrols or anything. It's just again, you just have a lot of characters, and you bring in someone that's extremely new, especially for the general audience. I was thinking that they're going to bring in maybe another pretty known Justice League member for the Justice Gang. But holy crap! That guy kicked ass. I want to see more. Mm-hmm. That scene in the desert, that's Gunn's new version of Yondu, essentially. Yeah. And not only that, pretty much. And not only that, he is the third smartest man in the world, and you can tell, it's painted perfectly in the film. But also, everyone questioned him, especially the Raptors, just thinking he's just a brain. But no, there's a lot of brawn behind him. Dude. And not only that, just his interaction with Superman, not caring he is the most powerful metahuman, just cursing him out, just laying out, saying what the hell are you doing? Let's get back to work. Come on. There was a lot of personality in this film, which something that I've been wanting, especially in the DC films. Now, the cons, for some of the characters, I know a lot of you were praising Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. I have nothing against Nicholas's portrayal. He portrayed him well. I just did not like this Lex at all. He wasn't menacing. Yes, this is a smart Lex. This is a Lex that is conniving. That knows, is 10 steps ahead of everyone. I get that. It's just so much so with the material that was given to him, just being so. It was mostly monologue with him. Just yelling at the screen. I didn't feel so much of should I be scared of him, or am I viewing him as a pissed off Twitch streamer gamer that's going to swat somebody if you piss him off, which kind of happens in this film. But the Russian roulette scene did put me on the edge. I'm okay, there's the Lex I've been wanting to see. But regardless, Nicholas Hoult did own it. I cannot wait to see more what he will do with this Lex. I'm excited to see. And I think you guys touched upon the Jimmy subplot that I honestly didn't think was going to work, and it fucking worked.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's because of the material, or Skylar is just so lovable on the screen.
Yeah.
It was great.
I thought he was really good. The whole subplot with him and Eve's tech.
Tessmacher.
Who would have thought that subplot was actually like a tie in the film? I thought it was gonna be like a small side gag.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, it took me by surprise, and how deep she was in the weeds with try to get all the information that she needed about. It's like it was intentional that she was gathering all this information. But
she was a very smart Eve.
Yeah, she was. So I think she was just doing that just in case she gets because probably she knows the history about the other ex-girlfriends. So maybe this was a security blanket for her. It's like, no, I'm gonna have all this on you just in case you try some dumb shit on me. So it just happened to work
maybe
out.
like an inside. Like I thought maybe like she was like, like again, you all know how I feel about influencers, but like I was kind of wondering like, what is this like little rebel trying to to stand up for these other women? And she's like, I'm this famous TikToker, and I'm gonna, but instead of using it for brand deals, I'm gonna get justice for these women. And because that's the thing, like, listen, because no one is ignoring the fact that Lex is an abuser, and and the fact is like when because when they pick up the phone and scrolling through all the photos, I'm kind of like, are we gonna sit there and watch them go for like 20,000 files? But then like, there's a lot of things behind her. This doesn't look like someone like an influencer would do of like, oh my god, look, I'm in Hawaii. No, look, I'm in front of this very secretive map. Look behind me. So I'm like, like I hope we get to see more of Eve. When it comes to the story, I want to go back to what Craig said, because there'd been all this talk about there's going to be an introduction to how the DCU history explained. My idea, my vision in my head was something that we saw in Blue Beetle with how the Scarab comes to Earth. Like I thought we were going to see something like that, or kind of equivalent to the Incredible Hulk in 2008 when in the opening montage, like something. But I was like, because I'm like, listen, like I'm a writer myself. I didn't come here to look at text. I want to see cool shit. I don't want to be thinking about work right now. So I hope that if we do more things like that in the DC, we maybe get a little more. Let's flash back a little bit. Let's play with the history, because we are, we've seen through Creature Commandos some bits of history already. That could have been a really cool thing to do in those opening minutes. But that was a nitpick for me, where I'm like, oh, this. Because everyone, based on people who had seen the film, they said, there's this big introduction to the DC history. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's text.
Online told me it was gonna be like Star Wars. I was expecting to see floating text.
I was waiting for that too.
And Star Destroyers and all.
Well, I thought that because when I watched it the second time, it just registered with me that the whole thing about the introduction of Superman 30 years ago, and this is the first time that he loses a fight, and I'm thinking, the first fight that he loses is against Lex Luthor, because in reality it's Lex Luthor giving him the business, because he's giving instructions to Ultraman, when to grab him, when to hit him, when to hold him, when to throw him. So in reality, it was him. So that was like, oh, there's this little thing that you enjoy the second time around. Another thing is that 300 years it was the first sighting of metahumans. Like, who the hell has been around since those 300 years were introduced? And I was thinking
Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage, exactly. So was he the first metahuman? Are we gonna get an apocalypse type of fucking film with Vandal Savage in it? I don't know. I think the potential of a lot of great things with this universe are just ripe for the taking.
The
thing that also, sorry.
No, when you were talking about wanting to see what came before, I think what would have been cool is something kind of like the intro to Superman 2. Which kind of recaps the first Superman movie in a bunch of clips that look almost like a TV show opening in a way. But if you had the DC universe, and then you could have had little shot cameos of the Justice Society or something back in the day, or because I'm always thirsty for a society, right, Andy?
Always society.
But also just you could have seen something from Creature Commandos with Rick Flag in live action. to establish, okay, this is the guy from that show. Kind of like how the Star Wars Ahsoka show had some stuff from Clone Wars shot. I don't know. I think that would have been kind of cool.
Like that, like they show like animated stuff in a live action show.
No, they reshot it in live action.
Shit, that would have been cool.
Like if they reshot like something from Creature Commandos with Rick Flag.
No, yeah, Clayface, that'd be cool.
They would have to re-dye his hair.
Yeah,
that's true.
But then, like every time Frank Grillo was on screen, I was like, "This man is so fine." But one thing that stood out with me when it comes to the story is, there's always been this debate about like, does Superman need to be relatable? I absolutely think Superman needs to be relatable. Like 100%. The fact, like, there's so many times where, like, in this film, where I feel that he's like, again, even though we're following this fantastical story of an alien from another planet, I love the fact, like, that he's like, I love that he's not fully confident. Like, one of the main reasons why Smallville's Superman has always stood out to me is that the fact that, yeah, like, it felt real that somebody would come in there, like Clark, to this world and not be like, you know what? No, I don't want to fulfill some freaking destiny. Like, no, I don't. Like, I don't want all this on me. Like, but like, he grows into it, and I feel the fact that David's Superman, like, and this is what I say, like, this doesn't feel like I'm watching Christopher Reeve in 2025. Like, this again, I felt there's some of the best parts that we see with all of these Superman. But also he gets to bring something very complete of his own. Like, kind of like when, like, if we could think about it, My Adventure with Superman was the first animated Superman TV show since Superman the Animated Series. But again, it feels so modern. Like, while some people, don't like, modern aspects of Superman, hi, Dean Cain, I would say that what the fact that this Superman does, it works for me. And again, I love the fact, again, like, so, as journalists, like, I love that this story, like, held it so seriously that we haven't seen in a while. Where, like, yeah, like, I love the fact that Lois was giving so much shit. Like, you have sound bites now? Like, really? Okay, you're working on sound bites. Cool. Okay, I will leave that out and so on. Again, I love the fact that there was, like, they're not fully, even though we're 3 years into these characters' journey. The fact that this isn't the Superman and Lois Lane that we, for example, know, like, that have come so far in comic that we're going to build to that. Like, I wanted to speak to Alex's point. You weren't necessarily vibing with the Nicholas Hoult, but the fact that you said that you can't wait to see what's next is, like, that's the whole thing I love with this franchise that we're going to do, is that we're going to be able to grow things now. We're not going to have to do, because it's not going to be like what we had with DC films where, oh no, a test screening went bad. Let's rewrite the third act and do a bunch of reshoots.
And hire Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
I like that James Gunn has been intentional about every decision that he's making, whether it's story-wise, casting, shows. I think this is all tied. Like, he looks at it from outside and says, "Okay, this can play very well into the universe that we try to build." And that kind of intentional decisions is what is going to continue to make the DCU successful. Not just let's throw this guy here and here. Let's give this movie to so and so. Let's make another. Like, when I heard all the stuff about the Sergeant Rock, which I was like, I don't know if I care enough about this character. But when I heard all the stuff that was supposed to be in this movie, I was like, holy fuck. Well, now we're not getting this movie. Well, we don't know yet. Still development. He says still in development. So when I heard all that stuff that leaked that was supposed to happen in this film, I don't know how much they're going to change it, or if they're going to change anything. But it's just hearing that all this stuff that he's planning is just part of this larger story, which is, to me, is just, it gets me giddy and excited. Like, and he said it he said it himself. Listen, we're not going to hit the mark on every freaking product we put out. It's just not going to be for everybody, because you got a horror movie that is going to be a body horror movie that I'm sure that a lot of people are going to watch.
I am so freaking ready.
I cannot wait. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Like, I already know. My sister's like, no, I cannot watch that shit. Okay, but it's just that they are creating a universe where they can give you different type of flavors for you to enjoy, and it's okay that if you don't like something, you're still gonna have other things that you can enjoy in this universe.
One thing I like about this.
Wait, Greg. I want to, because I know she's been waiting, because I want to finally bring in our final guest, who speaking of someone we enjoy, someone who's been a big addition to the Multiverse of Color family this year. If you've been following this channel, you've been following all the lot of videos that we've been covering, shorts, TikToks, reels. If I'm forgetting another social media term, it's because there's too many social media apps now. But she's the voice of all of these breakdowns, these reviews, these analysis, and I'm so honored to welcome Miss Rhea to these Studios podcast. Hi, Rhea.
Hey, Rhea.
How are you?
Yo.
Your mic is low.
Oh, your microphone.
You might.
Yeah.
The volume is low, baby.
StreamYard does this all the time. Like, they need to stop going back to default.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The volume is low.
Does anyone know sign language?
How is my volume right now?
The volume is down.
I think your StreamYard is connected to a different microphone. It's not connected to the one in front of you.
Yeah, because I can hear her voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're right.
Like, I can faintly hear your voice.
Okay. I say something?
No.
No. No, it's okay. No, like this, everyone who uses Stream, they always have this issue, that somehow StreamYard they reset to default settings, and that's just annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, she'll be back. She'll be back. But yeah, no, I will say this. Something Cole pointed out before was the fact that there's themes in the story. Again, this is a fictionalized history in the DCU. Even though there's parallels to something that going on in real life, I like the fact that it's not so up in your nose. Again, it's just showing you, hey, in a fictional universe, there can be these conflicts too between countries and nations, and I like the fact that it was, again, because people were making such a big deal. This is going to be a woke movie. This is going to be political. But that it never felt like that. It felt like it was very subtle.
It was a plot device, but it was very much on your face when it was happening.
Thinking you should try that sometimes, subtlety. But I like the fact that it's not forcing you down your throat. It feels natural, and again, also the fact that we've seen this with Superman before. Again, as I said on Ben's show last week, one of my favorite Superman comic books. Again, I know it's not canon, but it was in the back of issue 900 of Action Comics, where Superman renounces his citizenship because the government keeps saying why did you interfere with Iran? You're not supposed to do that. And he says, you know what? Then I don't represent America. I represent the world. That's that's the way it is. So that for me, I felt that's what.
Yeah. And Dean Cain had a problem with that too, and he blocked me when I called him out on it.
Really? Dean Cain blocked you?
No.
Years ago.
Yeah, Dean Cain once sent his minions
yeah.
That's
I don't like to get political,
and
but
that was he was my Superman.
Oh my God! Never meet your heroes.
It's crazy because I'm pretty sure he has a pretty political moment in his own project.
Yeah,
he does.
I guess he just didn't understand, or I don't know.
He didn't understand.
He doesn't know what he was doing.
No, he doesn't know what he's doing. Again, it's as an immigrant myself, and when I saw those comments, I want to say, again, I know getting into politics can be dangerous, but it's hurtful seeing a Superman actor say something like that when, again, this has been part of the creator's inception since 1938. He is from another planet. He's some people say, he's not an alien, he's an orphan. Yeah, he's an orphan and an alien and an immigrant,
and refugee.
So why? I don't understand how some people are saying that he can't be all that. It's why do we have to neglect one of his character not persona, but traits or history elements? Why do we have to neglect one of them just to lift up another one that makes people, I guess, I don't know, people. I feel like the people who've been naysaying it are they're more comfortable with orphans. I'm okay, that's messed up, but
I think it's just rage baiting because the whole argument about
The American way
the
that
American
they've been stripped
way
out for
or
years.
yeah,
It
so
has
that's
been new.
exactly. So now that you have this movie coming out, then you ask the director to say something, and they just hold on to that little soundbite and say, "Well, look at what the director is saying. He's woke, or he doesn't understand Superman, or he doesn't understand American values." Like, okay, hold that. This has been said ad nauseum for years. Every time a Superman movie comes out, why are you doing this now? Because rage baiting is the new currency. That's why they're doing it. It's the only reason. And it's just I was floored to see Dean Cain with what's the name of those guys from
Geeks and Gamers.
Geeks and Gamers. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is like we live in an alternate reality. Like this.
We moved. We walked on a butterfly. We did like a butterfly was killed, and it's that's that. I get Alex. I had no idea that he blocked you. You know what? Well, Dean, you're missing out then. You're missing out. Again, like, I wanted one thing. While we wait for Ray to come back, we've lived in this culture right now where Cameo Fest can be very, very hit or miss. How did everyone here feel? And let's start with Julian. How did you feel about the way they handled cameos? Was it more or less than you expected from what like rumors that we've heard, some of the things that we've seen in trailers? Like, how did it fit what you were expecting?
For me,
well, there's only Julian.
Yeah. The cameos didn't feel forced. That's really all I want from cameos. I don't want cameos to feel forced or to take away from the momentum of this story. When they were, shown on screen, it was shown to, further the story. Like, oh yeah, I guess we can talk about spoilers. Supergirl. She came on. It did not feel like it stopped the movie at all, really. She just came on, she left, she picked up the dog. It brought back the reference to Clark or Superman saying it was more of a foster situation. So it set it up, and that's what I like. And then all the other cameos were like the Michael Rooker cameo and like Michael Rosenbaum cameo of them just voicing different characters. And that didn't feel like it took away from the story at all.
And anyone doesn't know, he was on the voice of one of the Raptors. So
yeah.
Oh, really? I did not. Like, I was trying to hear his voice like throughout. I thought he was a robot.
No, he's a Raptor.
Okay, interesting.
Alex, how did the cameo aspect live up to your expectations? Like, was it too much, or was it just enough, or was it too little?
No, it was enough. And just to Julian's point, there's a fine line on how to handle cameos. Some, like, I get you have to interject to the story because you need to sell the product for the next film, and it can be tricky that you don't want it to be too forced, or you don't want it to overshadow the whole film. That's the only thing you're going to be talking about. And we've had that, I don't know how many times in previous comic book films, that they only speak about the cameo and not about the film. And here, everyone's just been talking about Superman. And the Kara cameo was in and out. She was great. The suit looked amazing. Her interaction with Crypto, adorable. And it's going to kill me. What's going to happen in the next film?
I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it.
I think they have to. They have to do it. But then going back to Kara, too.
No.
Like, remember I mentioned about the whole bait and switch with Jor-El? She was on Krypton. She knows Kryptonian culture. She saw the destruction and everything. So whatever Jor-El is saying on that message, there may have been more to it. So you might not be the evil Jor-El that the internet's now labeling, that it's not Gunn is destroying canon, which happened a few times in the comics. Smallville too.
Yeah, exactly. Terrence Stamp was a bitch.
Well,
he was a total bitch.
If you think about, I said this on Twitter. If you think about it, if you have General Zod, which is the highest commander in the Kryptonian army, being what do you call that when you are just about your people? Nationalists, whatever. Well, he was about his people, even if that was in the film. That he just wanted the survival of his people, that they would go into other planets and pretty much take over. That's pretty much part of the culture. So that's not surprising that he will be doing the same thing, or he will say something to that effect, along the lines of yes, go and conquer, because this is what we do. It's part of our culture. It's not something that he's just trying to make him evil. I think it's just misrepresentation by saying that. I think it's just, it is what it is. It's been said, and like you said, to piggyback on what you said, this has been alluded many times before in the comic books, TV shows. It's not the first time.
Let's see, Rhea, how's your mic coming in now?
How does it sound to y'all?
No, there we
Okay,
go.
better.
There you go.
We
There we
hear
go.
her.
Okay.
Rhea,
Awesome.
welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me on. I apologize for being an hour and a half late, but I'm
No,
glad I
you're
could
good.
join.
You're good.
You're
You're
good.
good.
Don't worry.
You've been crushing it with the Multiverse of Color content, and your voice was the first review we had for Superman on Multiverse of Color, and I so happy that you get to be here joining us talking about this film. And so Ben, when did you have to hit out just so I don't?
I got 15 more minutes.
Okay, cool. Because I want to get to I want to hear from Rhea on the aspects that we talked about. We talked about the cast. We've talked about what we thought about the story, and expectations like with the cameos. So like you can start wherever you want to start, because dying to hear more about what you thought about Superman.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I can expand on stuff that I didn't get to cover in my own personal review, as well as the Multiverse of Color review. What I thought was interesting to me in the film, for the most part, was the dichotomy between Superman and Lex. So in my interpretation of the two characters at the end of the movie, I saw it twice actually, and I think it's even stronger now. There is there's a clear difference between the two, like a 180, but there's also like this sense of them being two halves of the same coin, or basically they're both very immature or underdeveloped as far as emotionally and being able to think in nuance, I should say. I think that my interpretation of them was that they both have had very sheltered, very specific types of environments that they grew up in. Specifically, like we got to see that with Superman, and seeing him as Clark with his parents, and a lot of their kind of isolation on the farm, and like lack of familiarity with technology for the most part, and a lot of the hokiness and the dialogue and things like that. So yeah, that's where some of his apple pie middle America values might come from, or the way that he talks, as far as being referencing like a specific period in time, as far as his character. Whereas with Lex, yeah, he's very modern, very technology savvy, very much driven by this aspect of it's never enough. Everything needs he has to be in control of everything, and then he also has to continue to prove himself above everyone else around him. I think that there was a sequence in the film where he's in the control room talking about how he vomits in his mouth whenever people compare him to Galileo, or I think Da Vinci or something like that. He sees himself in such a higher regard than that. So yeah, compared to Clark, who he can be a little arrogant sometimes, but he is ultimately sort of he brings himself down a peg, I guess, when he is confronted with needing to point out how he connects with humanity, and what about his human aspects make him his strongest asset. And so yeah, apart from them just being completely different from one another, again, I wanted to point out, very sheltered, very specific mindsets, as far as being very black and white patterns of thinking in terms of morality versus being self-driven by their own end game, I should say. So I am hoping that we get to see a more, I guess, adult might not be the best word, but maybe just more mature versions of these characters, because I do feel like, they do feel like, dudes in their early 30s, like not really the best at having nuanced conversations, kind of walking off in a huff. And even Lois pointed that out to Clark, that he couldn't really handle being confronted. And on the flip side, no one will ever dare confront Lex. So yeah, that would be some of the more interesting things that I found in the movie, especially on the second viewing, where I tried to get more of a sense of who these characters are, and how I can see them, or how I would like to see them develop in future content.
No, I totally get that, and like I said, again, because I really thought about it when Alex was saying about it, is that maybe not, like maybe Nicholas Holt's like isn't for everyone at the moment, but again, like I can see like 4 or 5 movies from now, like as we grow with his legs, that he's going to evolve. And that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why we love comic books, is that we follow these characters through. I mean, first of all, we follow them through like hundreds of reboots. So, like they're bound to change no matter what. But the fact that is that, the way Superman was in 1938 is not how he is today, obviously. And I think that, also applies to what we're going to see in the DCU. Something I thought about when it came to the cameo stuff, because maybe this is a nitpick on my end, because we see Peacemaker, and it was funny, but for me, I was kind of confused. So wait, because if Peacemaker season 2 takes place after Superman, because I felt like the whole thing when we're going to explore season 2 is that how they're going to explain the universe shifts, for example, and so the fact that we're now seeing a Peacemaker, I'm like, well, which Peacemaker is that? Is it the one that we see like our DCU John Cena, or is it the John Cena that we see popping up with a new suit in the Peacemaker trailers? So that's kind of why I'm like, maybe that was one cameo. I'm kind of like, maybe, because like right now, like, I like it so far that the DCU has been very linear, like Commando.
That's one thing that was a little bit confusing, because I think James Gunn mentioned that the things that happen in Superman leading to Peacemaker. So I thought whatever happened in Peacemaker season 2 is what kind of shows you how things get, how he ends up in this universe. So how is it that he's already in this universe? So that was the only pet peeve for me. I was like, what's going on here? Hold on. It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
But it confused me a little bit. Like, why is he here if it's not supposed to be here just yet? Or at least not a version of Peacemaker.
Well, it's also interesting because in the Peacemaker trailer, they're talking about the past events of season 1 after, seemingly after like meeting with the Justice Gang. Because they're like, we saved the world. Out of bios, like we saved the world. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know how
trailers. They are very deceptive. They don't give you everything linear.
Yeah, definitely. No, man. Again, when it came to the cameras, like I like it was fun seeing like Maxwell Lord, for example. Yeah. Like I love that, like he was, like very much like what I imagined someone who was owning Lord Tech, of having these corporate superheroes, like like look, these two political sides can at least agree that Lex is nuts. So I cannot wait to see what Sean Gunn does with that. Kara was, I couldn't stop grinning. It was like that was probably the funniest Supergirl introduction I've seen ever. Like, first of all, like, she's not even like in her like completely in the suit. Like, she has like the bodysuit and a coat. I'm like, yeah, that's a party girl right there. Like, she's just come out of a party, and she's there to pick up the dog. And I don't care what Alex says. I do not want what happens to Crypto in Woman of Tomorrow to happen in the movie. Like,
it will happen.
I don't know. No,
she needs to go John Wick.
Yeah.
Superman kind of
with a sword. In a skirt.
Yep. Millie was like, the thing was like I was instantly, because I haven't seen Millie in House of the Dragon, and I'm meaning to see her new Netflix show, but I'm like, this is the car I want to follow. And the thing was like, it wasn't like, oh, whoop-de-doo, it's a big setup for the next movie. It's like, no, like, this is like just part of Clark's life. Like, his cousin pops in and out. It's like a routine. Because, again, we've seen it so much in the comic movie genre space over the last 15 years, where like, instead of doing focusing on telling like one good superhero movie story, we're trying to set up like multiple spin-offs in one film. And I'm like, no, like, focus on, like, if the movie's called Superman, I want it to be fully about Superman. And having like, first of all, I will say that it's gonna be so funny when James Gunn finally talks about the fact, like, yeah, I lied. You all kept saying that Kara was in this. I kept denying. Yeah, surprise. Like it's gonna it's gonna be funny that because like everyone has we follow him on Threads, we follow him on Twitter, we know like what he said. So but it's I'm excited for her film, and like the cameos, but I honestly thought there were gonna be more, like based on like how some people were hyping it up, and I was kind of like, oh, am I gonna have a headache from this? But no, I feel like anytime like anyone show, even with Peacemaker, I'm like, yeah, like of course someone like Christopher Smith would be like commenting on Superman. Although I do love the fact that he's now gotten to a point in his career that he can now be on talk shows now, and like he can just sit there, and it's just like, this is just a new normal. We're just sitting there watching someone with a toilet helmet on their head, just criticizing another superhero. Ben, I know you said you had to jump up, so I shall release. But it was so much fun having you on. I'm listening.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
We have the DCU is just starting. I'm sure we're gonna have more things to discuss in the future. But if people don't know where they can find you, tell them a little about Real Anarchy and where they can find you and what they can expect if they tune into Real Anarchy.
They can expect probably a live stream next week sometime. No. You can follow me on Real Anarchy, where I do videos from time to time. I do live streams on Thursdays. This week I was not too crazy about doing a live stream because I had too many things, but my wife is working, so I was gonna be on a rush. But so you can follow me also on all social media platform, and that's pretty much it. But thank you for inviting me. I really had a great time.
Of course. Yes.
And that was nice to meeting you guys. Well, I already know Raya, and I know that guy there.
I have a name.
He has a name.
That guy there with the black hat. Well, in the black hoodie.
Te quiero.
Well, Ben, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
All right, guys.
Take care. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
I know I have a few things left I want to discuss with everyone before we kind of wrap things up. So like, even though we've entered this this DC universe that is in the midst of everything, like this is not a lot of origin stories, things are going on. What did you guys think when it came to Easter eggs and or like DCU connection? That like, was there like a particular one that stood out to you that you were like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm excited for that? Julian, do you want? Yeah, who Alex, do you want to start?
No, let's go with Julian. Sorry.
Okay, Julian, let's go with Julian.
Oh dang. The Martian Manhunter cookies. That I was very excited when that we just get that little glimpse of world building. That was really the only Easter egg I was all for.
What about you, Cole?
I guess the biggest one was the Hall of Justice. I noticed Wildcat and Jay Garrick and Vibe. I don't know if anyone caught any others, but those were the three I caught.
Wait, where'd you caught them?
In the Hall of Justice.
Yes, there's like a
like a
mural or something.
There's a mural. It's very. You have to pay attention on the second watch because Guy is basically talking. He's just
no. I was looking at the head the entire time, and I was like,
Well, that's why Gunn centered it there, because you were just gonna be looking at that bowl cut and not the beautiful mural in the back, and even Gunn teased that there was a certain painting that's going to contain a lot. So most likely we might see it next week.
If Cisco Ramon exists in the DCU, and I get to have Cisco in my life again. Oh fuck yes! I will be so excited. I love Cisco Ramon so much, and I think he listen, like the Flash TV show made it clear that Cisco Ramon is a fucking awesome character. He deserves to be told more. You know, we live with the Ciscos of the world, not the Chesters. Sorry. But Craig,
Yes.
again, did you spot those Society cameos? Or
I
like what
did
was some...
not spot those Society cameos, but as far as connections to the larger universe, like I loved that Supergirl just popped in. Just stuff like that. I think that's a really kind of fun world building. Oh, I did notice Stag Industries, which of course is Sapphire Stag's father, and Sapphire is of course Metamorpho's girlfriend. I think wife, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I caught those. Also, though, I wanted to tell you, I need to get going as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I put it in the chat. And I was like,
I'm so sorry. Okay, well, I will wrap you here. Is there, before I let you go, where can
Yes.
people find your coverage of everything in TV and film, and what should you expect of KSI TV or Krypton site?
Well, I mean, I've got KSA TV, which is general TV site. Obviously, the summertime, there's not a lot to write about, but I have been updating Krypton site more, and I have some plans for some improvements there. And the site will turn 25 in February. So
Congratulations, man.
Hey, congrats, man.
Yeah, this is the guy who led the Smallville community for over 10 years. It's still to this point. Like, if you needed anything about Smallville, Craig was the guy to always go to. Like, so when people try to go on Twitter and being like, "What do you know about Superman?" Maybe research who you're fucking with, and then speak your piece. You know who you are. You know who you are.
I
But yeah.
also wanted to say that for people who are fans of Smallville, I'm going to be one of the hosts for the Salute to Smallville convention in Chicago in September. Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, Kristen Krug, Erica Durant, all kinds of guests. It should be a great time. If you're anywhere near Chicago, definitely try to come. And if you do, say hi to me.
Yeah, I will update the video description with a link to Creation Entertainment that hosts Salute to Smallville, and Craig did an amazing job last year, and like you said, he's gonna be there this year as well. So go if you love Smallville. This is the place to be at. But Craig, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sorry I had to bounce so soon.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But
it's okay.
It was great meeting all of you. I don't think I had met any of you before except for Andy. He doesn't count. No,
I don't count.
All right, I'll see you all later.
Take care, Craig.
Have a great day. Take care.
Bye.
Alex, for you, because as you know, we have so much DCU stuff coming up, and we have so much, and we get so many tastes. So, like, what was there an Easter egg or a DCU connection that stood out to you that you're like, oh, this was it for me?
To be honest, like everyone, pretty much picked everything other than the mention of the interdimensional imp that the Justice Gang were fighting. So that perked up in my ears that we might be getting a imp with a hat coming into the DCU very soon, which kind of ties into the reason why Jimmy has so much game, because I think he is cursed. If you go back to some of the old Jimmy stories, there were many times he is cursed with something, and one of which was being that popular, other times he was rich, and one time he couldn't dress very well. So we'll see if they're going to go with that.
I remember him being a turtle at one point.
Exactly. He turned into like a kaiju at one point. Poor Jimmy. I cannot wait for the Jimmy show if they actually do it.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit after this movie discussion, because I definitely want to pick all of your thoughts on that. Rhea, what stood out to you when it came to some of the teasers of what we know is coming up in the DCU franchise?
So it might sound super simple, and we probably already knew this was going to happen, but what I recall very vividly was when once the citizens of Metropolis were fleeing, a lot of them had rolling suitcases for some reason, and above them was one of the highway signs.
They're used to it.
They're used to it, yeah. On one of the highway signs, y'all may remember too, it said Gotham City. And I'm like, oh, dang. So I don't know if it's confirmed whether or not the folks, the metahumans in Metropolis are familiar with some of the I guess like street level crime happening in Gotham or not. I thought it was funny though that the citizens of Metropolis were fleeing to what I thought was Gotham City, which is probably like even more dangerous. But yeah, I don't know. That was like one Easter egg that I was thinking like, how are they going to incorporate, you know, the world of Gotham into, you know, the world that we're seeing here that's established in Metropolis. So yeah.
For me, I mean, the Super Bowl tease was definitely like, you know, I mean, again, even though it was like him talking about like, you know, yeah, she's partying on other planets with a red sun, and I'm like, I dig that. I will say like when he talked about like when he comes back to the apartment and like we see what's going on in the background, and you know, because again, this was the big thing that everyone was like, why is he sitting and just suiting up while there's clearly something going on behind them? I mean, for all the scoopers who were saying Brainiac, like, where you at? Like, that was clearly not Brainiac or whatever people were saying.
Or Soul, the Sun Destroyer. Like, there were so many different things.
Oh
Yeah.
Solaris, right?
Solaris, yeah.
Yeah.
So which it did kind of look like, but
it did.
I love the fact. I love the fact that when she was like, shouldn't you be helping them? He's like, nah, just an interdimensional imp, and I'm just like, listen, like, I get it. Like, the world just turned on you, Clark. I don't blame you at all. Like, you know what? Let them take care of it. The one thing, I mean, again, I don't know like where this is going to pay off, but like the idea of, you know, because again, there was a lot of talks about like, you know, how do you do corporate superheroes in a world post The Boys, you know, and I feel like there was never a point in this film where I'm thinking like, oh, this just feels like what I saw on the show. Like, this felt like, okay, like, you know, like these people think these people are generally thinking that they're doing good, you know, they want to do good things. They're just getting paid for it. Like, you know, with the Seven, like, they are corrupted. So I'm kind of like, that concern like went out of my head, and that's why I'm like, I kind of really want to see what the overall plan is for Maxwell Lord and the Justice Gang, because, you know, like, obviously they're probably gonna, you know, they recruited Metamorpho in the end. I love was the way when the easiest, he's like, we can't have him represent us, and he's like, Justice Gang, I like that, and guys like,
you're in.
Okay, you're in. I hope that it's. I mean, I know this. We know that James Gunn is a huge fan of Justice League International, so I'm hoping like that is actually something we are gonna get. That, you know, kind of like, again, like that kind of corporate, sardonic kind of version of the Justice League, and because I think it would be interesting to see like how that would parallel with something like the normal Justice League or something like the Justice Society and so on. And if there's one thing, I mean, James Gunn is good at a lot of great things, but if there's one thing he's always excelled at, it is teams. So like, and he's in the world of like some of the best teams in fiction. So I'm like, whatever, like, yeah, even if it's like again, like, who here knew anything about Creature Commandos until January 2023, and now look where we are, where we're like, G.I. Robot, Weasel, oh my god, like it's amazing what he can do with these kind of dynamics, and because this was another thing I was thinking a lot about, was that because people kept saying when the cast got announced that, you know, we're gonna have all these heroes, all these villains, so on, I didn't feel this was overcrowded. I felt like everyone, you know, and maybe that's why the movie wasn't 30 minutes long or something like that, because everyone who was there had their purpose. And, you know, even though I was always feeling like we should have seen more with Metamorpho, for example, because like Anthony Kerrigan is Anthony Kerrigan. Like, do I need to say anything else? Yeah, Cole, what you want to say?
I mean, that's the thing. I just think Anthony needed some comedic beats, because he is hilarious. Like, if you watch Gotham, Victor Zsasz or Barry, he is funny. And I do think he should have gotten some of those comedic beats in the film.
Baby Joey.
I wish they had more
or
Daily Planet.
Yeah, Daily Planet.
100%.
Sure. It was like severely lacking. Like, because the thing is, like, naming out the full Daily Planet cast and just like making it such a big thing. Like, I thought we're going to be getting a lot of the Daily Planet, and it was just like no one really did anything. I'm like, when are we going to have, like, you know, something that's true lived in? Like, I want to see the day ins and day outs. I want to see Clark Kent actually doing some reporting. for once on screen. And the last time we saw that was Superman Returns.
Yeah, I mean, he can interview himself forever, and that would have been like a funny way to see, like, if he, like, almost like switching in and out as like a Gollum thing, where like he's like flipping back and forth of like Clark asks a question, and then he is Superman and whatnot. So yeah, because I feel like when they were filming, I felt we saw so much of the Daily Planet, like through set photos, that I'm like, oh, we're gonna spend a really good time there.
I thought so too.
So I'm like, I'm trying to, because I don't remember like how much deleted stuff James usually includes on his films. Like, like everybody, Christopher Nolan, like he's like anti-deleted scenes. That's why I'm like, I will never forgive him for Dark Knight Rises with the Blu-rays, because like apparently there's like a 20-minute like Bane origin story that I will now never get to see, and I'm like, okay, Bill, you do you. But I don't know if James does something similar. So I'm like, if there are more deleted scenes, it wouldn't shock me if the Daily Planet characters was that, because we've never seen all of them together ever in live action at the same time in this regard. Like we like Lois and Clark doing Superman, we had Perry and Jimmy and Cat Grant, but like like having someone like Steve Lombard and Ron Troop, etc. I'm like, just give me that. Like I think some sort of Daily Planet's like offshoot needs to happen. And where like like we pop in with Lois and Clark every once in a while, but we also kind of see like what are these other characters like, because like if you get Wendell Pierce as Perry White, don't waste them. Like
exactly. Like for the limited time that he was on screen, he was great. I just wanted to see more of him.
Clock it.
Yeah, I think to your point too, me seeing the cast of like in the setting of the Daily Planet, I did get a sense that or I should say I didn't get a sense that how were they so I guess in regards to like maybe Lois, like very like nonchalant about seeing the imp, for example, from Clark's apartment window, and Clark saying like, oh yeah, they got it. I'm wondering if the rest of the staff at the Daily Planet are also just sort of like, oh yeah, Metropolis is under attack again. Who wants to report on this one? So I didn't get a sense that was the case, whether or not. I think maybe one qualifying thing would be when Perry White is listening to Jimmy and Lois kind of go over, oh, this is Lex Luthor's grand plot with Moravia, and he's listening, and he's like, yep, checks out. All right, everyone that got some screen time at the Daily Planet, let's get on this spacecraft, or like this aircraft. And I was just
that
like,
was funny. That was really funny.
I'm sending you something.
Yeah, it was. But to your point about some footage that may have gotten cut out, I was like, why would you put your staff in danger? And first of all, why are you even like invited on this adventure? So for me personally, just in the sense of just like movie pacing and how I'm supposed to understand how these characters are significant to the plot, I thought that was like a little bit jarring. But to your point, I am interested to see more of them, because I know that there's just so much more there in terms of like character relationships. So I thought was really, really interesting. So what little bit we got of like some of the relationship building between the staff, I would like to see more, because these characters do look really fun, really dynamic, and like interesting enough where they could at least have like a part of a show. Like let's say we get the Jimmy spinoff, and then obviously he's working at the Daily Planet, and then we see his interactions with the rest of the staff, and yeah, that's about it.
I want to see how his weekend with Eve went. All weekend.
Did you all think that Ultraman was going to kill Eve?
I actually thought Lex was going to kill her somehow. Like I didn't think Ultraman, but I did think he was going to die. Also, let's talk about Ultraman for a second.
Bizarro.
Maybe okay. Like
I don't think he died.
Bizarro World.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what. Here's the thing. I kind of just wish they just called him something other than Ultraman. Like I like the cloning thing makes sense to me, but because again, like I like Ultraman from the Crime Syndicate and stuff like that, and I just hope that here's the thing. Even though I am so tired of the multiverse right now. Like, like, listen, I'm just gonna stick it out with Phase 6 of Marvel, and then I'm like, you all take a break. Like, I don't need more of this. But like, I'm like down the line, once the DCU has really earned it, I would love to see like the Ultraman. I just kind of hope that them using the name here doesn't eliminate that. But yeah, I think Alex is on to something. I think like we're gonna see him come back, and it's
Look, it's an old movie trope. If you don't see him die on screen, they're gonna come back.
Again, he got sucked into a black hole who doesn't know. I mean, he could have easily landed in Bizarre World.
Or stuck in the bookcase in that Nolan film. Why am I forgetting it? I'm killing myself for that. Damn it.
Memento?
No, the bookcase in what? Why am I Interstellar? There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I mean, he could have gone anywhere. I mean, I hope we do see him again because, like, if you're gonna clone Superman, like, let's make good use of it. Maybe next time he comes back, he is, what's Bizarre's condition called? Like, like his skin is like crippling or something. It's cracking. Like, has cracked skin. Like, maybe that's the next time we see Ultraman come back, he will be more like that.
Or who knows? He might go to Earth 3 and become Ultraman there.
Ooh.
Okay, you fucking fixed it for me. Okay, you know what? If I don't get that, James, then I'm hurt.
I think the comment Lex made about him being stupid kind of hinted at Bizarro, but I don't know. I feel like it could be, if he is alive, it could be Bizarro or Ultraman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lex look at anyone. Like, I think Lex look at anyone.
Bizarro.
Mix it.
Exactly.
Why not?
I kind of. Okay, now I'm intrigued. Actually, Julian, get on that fan art. What I'm gonna say.
I'm probably thinking about this too.
Julian works too hard.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was thinking. So they were able to go back into one of the pocket universes and release all of the prisoners from Lex's prison industrial complex. But because of that mass exodus, the movie is telling me there wasn't enough time for Ultraman to, escape as well. I don't know. Like, I just had to suspend my disbelief a little bit there, but I thought that was, kind of interesting. So I have some questions there, but I think, like, in terms of kind of being frustrated with the idea of like a multiverse, I totally get what you're saying, Andy. And when I first heard about pocket universes, again, I'm just sort of like, freshly coming into a lot of this, new content and new stories and stuff within the last like few years. So there's a lot that I don't know or am privy to. So I'm hoping that, pocket universes aren't like a huge thing that they lean into. I know that it's a thing in season 2 of Peacemaker. So yeah, I am more just interested in seeing more, kind of ground level, kind of, interactions with some of the other heroes on Earth, or sorry, metahumans on Earth. But the idea of like an interstellar sort of like exploration with Kara in her movie coming out like next year, that's also very interesting. And yeah, I guess like I'm hoping for both, and I feel like we would be getting both, considering we're already getting murmurs of Jimmy Olsen and Mr. Terrific spinoff, which that one sounds really, really, really cool. The Mr. Terrific or the Terrifics potentially getting like a project as well. Yeah, so that's like another thing too, where I would totally be on board with that.
Let's talk post-credit scenes, because it was funny, because I would like, because my friend like leading, because I'm always the guy, like when I go with my friends who are not like following the superhero world, they're like, like, what does this Easter egg mean? Or hey, Andy, are they post-credit scenes? I'm like, yeah, sit down. What do we think in this case about the way? Because we've seen, because listen, we come from the school of DCEU where like we've had how many post-credit scenes, set up things, and then nada happens. Alex, what were your takes on the post-credit scenes?
They were great because it didn't sell anything for something future. just nice little gags. Well, one not a gag, it's just a very cute scene with Superman and Crypto. Finally, he loves the dog. But his interaction with Mr. Terrific at the end, I loved. I thought it was funny.
Ray, for you, how did you feel a similar way about the post-credit scenes?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was slightly disappointed because I sat there with the rest of the audience expecting some sort of cameo or another sort of like momentous introduction of another character. I knew we weren't going to get Batman, and I already knew that, you know, we were going to get Supergirl before she showed up before the end credits. So yeah, I thought they, you know, the two end credit scenes were, or post credits were, you know, charming. I liked that it seemed like Mr. Terrific and Superman were becoming friends, like actual friends in that moment, maybe. So yeah, I thought that was cool.
Cole, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, same here. So I do think they added the second one late, because if I remember correctly, unless James like lied, but I'm pretty sure he said there was only one post credit, like a few months back, or even a few weeks back. And I do think the second one could have been in the actual film.
Mm-hmm.
It could have fit at the end of the film or before he goes back to the fortress. But I thought it was fine. I thought the Crypto one was cute. Everyone was like, "Aw," and I thought that was awesome. And yeah, there's this thing with post credits, especially in the DCEU, where nothing comes to fruition, and that can't happen. And I do like James's strategy there.
Julian, any thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, you're good.
You're fine. You want to add something to that, Maria?
I was just gonna say, yeah, to Cole's point, the after credit scene with Terrific and Superman looking up at the building, that was one of the first photos that we saw from on set.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. So I was totally I had forgotten about that photo because so much time had passed. So when I saw the actual scene, I was like, oh, okay, so that's what they were doing. But yeah, to your point, I don't know if that was intentional or not to put it specifically as a post credit.
And Julian, your thoughts?
I like them. It was just very much self-contained for that movie. Again, not pushing anything more. Just giving us another little thing to laugh at.
Yeah, there was a part where I almost kept thinking, like, what if there was no post credit scenes for this film? But by God, like, like this like the first big DCU movie, like of course they're gonna put something in there. But I like that it was just more. It was more fun and not trying to set up promises that maybe they can't fulfill in the long run, because again, like Rachel says here, to be fair, that's also been happening with MCU movie post credit scenes lately. Like, remember that one time Mahershala Ali spoke as Blade?
Mm-hmm.
There can only be one Blade, Andy.
I mean, the prophecy seems to be coming true. That it's like, yeah, it's only going to be one Blade. So I kind of hope that when it wouldn't be terrible if there are some DCU movies that like they just don't have post credit scenes. That I feel like you can like maybe almost make it like a guessing game. Like make the audience kind of like sit there, who are seeing it for the first time, and not having that information out there. Like, oh, there's going to be something out there. Like, yeah, like because like this again, like with James Gunn, like soundtracks are always like fun to listen to when it comes from his brain. Like, yeah, like going through all the credits. It was fun just hearing his music taste and just seeing some of the beats. And yeah, like again, even though we know, like, I mean, like this franchise is obviously gonna live and go on with so much. So I like the fact that we don't need to get something promised to it right now. Like we just wanted a good movie. Like the thing, like the fact that we've had to fight for so long to just have an event where like people are in the theaters, people are reacting to Superman, like they're black, like we're not seeing the meme of like real DC fans, but and on Twitter, and then real DC fans in theaters, and then it's just
Empty seats.
Someone's gonna have to re-edit that meme.
Mhm.
I
Right
think,
now, it's a hashtag while it's closed, but they seem to be very open right now.
55 million, and then it's we're tracking on beyond 104. What was the number today that came out? It was more than 130.
120.
Yeah, it's like right now they're looking at conservatively 115, 125, but it could go past.
It's very
135.
lowball.
They're lowballing it.
Yeah.
But for an opening week, like for DC movie, like this is like this is a W. Like this is definitely.
It is, because the thing is, right now it's in the public consciousness. People are excited. They're like, I've already seen the film twice. So the first time was at a press screening, but there were some fans that were invited. So there were some people who were there who didn't even know there was a Superman film. They assumed that Cavill was in this and didn't know it was going to be like in a whole new cast. But they were interested. Yeah, they're interested nonetheless. Like, the general audience really doesn't know anything. Like, we are too plugged in to this stuff. Like, to the point where even my wife, like, Corin Sweat sent us like a beautiful message before she gave birth, and I told her that, like, hey, Superman sent us something. She thought it was Cavill, and then her heart sank that it wasn't Cavill. And she was wondering, like, who the hell is Corin Sweat? So I explained the whole situation. And when I mentioned Rachel Brosnahan, she's the biggest Mrs. Maisel fan. So she's freaking the hell out that she knows that she's about to give birth. And I think that's how labor got induced.
That is
all
so.
that,
I always love that story of seeing the DM. Like, now David, like, listen, like
on and off the screen, the man is Superman.
Yeah, and I like that's why I'm like, I cannot wait for just all the success that's waiting for. I mean, all of them really, but like especially for David, who, again, it's like Superman has always belonged in pop culture. Like we should not go this many years without having a Superman movie. And I feel like given how well Superman this one has done, and it's seemingly going to be doing, like, I'm hopeful that we're going to see him back on the big screen in his own film sooner rather than later. Obviously we're going to. I mean, I feel like many of us are kind of agreeing that we're probably going to see him in maybe Peacemaker season 2, or like we're going to see him like some of the shows, or like. But again, I feel like I like the fact that we're not having to wait 3-4 years every time I want to see this Superman. Like, we're going to see him more concurrently, like, because that's the DC. That's why. One of the takeaways of James Gunn coming over from Marvel is like he's seen what works with Marvel, and he's leaving the things that didn't work with Marvel at Marvel. Like, maybe I'm too optimistic, or maybe like actually, what? I just got my paycheck from Warner Bros. So like right on time. Like, I'm gonna be a total chill right now and just go into like how there's absolutely nothing wrong with any. Was there? Okay, yeah, I know we never paused it, but I kind of also want to ask you guys about this in this way. Was there something about this film that maybe didn't work but that you hope could get improved as we get more stories with these specific characters, that like, or this specific take on Superman, that you're like, this isn't, I know Ali, we were talking about Lex before, but like, was there something else that maybe you're like, if we get a Superman 2, I want some of these things to be a little more elevated? Rhea, do you want to start?
Yeah, definitely. So referring to the interview scene in Lois's apartment, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie. And I loved that one of the ads or one of the footage teasers, or I think that was the official trailer, the first official trailer dropped. I forget. But anyway, that sequence, when we first saw it in when it was released, I was so optimistic about, yes, Superman is finally being confronted about, hey, like, your black and white pattern of thinking is not always, the right thing to choose. It's very impulsive. You didn't check with anyone else before acting. The lives that you saved could have cost the lives of other people, and you didn't, go through the proper channels before you acted. And they kind of expanded on that in the movie, which I really, really appreciate. I think that's where I was just like, yes, I love Lois. Like, she does not care. She's gonna, throw it on the table and just be like, look, this is this is what is on the record, and this is what you're going to be held accountable for if we were to publish this. And yes, like, Clark, it seemed like he hadn't ever been like challenged in that way before. And, his perception of being a good man, or, in his values, those are all great, but I would love to see those challenged a bit. And like I've said earlier, like more nuance in him growing as a, less of a pillar of, what is right and what is wrong. And, just having very like stringent sort of like life or death perceptions of, oh, I got to save a squirrel. Oh, I got to put this dog, I have to like make sure this dog's out of the way. All those things, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I get those are character building moments to show how much you love life. But I'm just imagining in real time, what about the hundreds of thousands of people who are like running for their lives, like, all around you, and this building possibly, most likely, probably certainly still, populated by people inside too. You're going to take a break to quickly save one animal. And I think even Lois brought this up too, when Superman was really concerned about Crypto being kidnapped. She's like, it's just a dog. And he's like, yeah, and he's not a very good one, but he's probably scared, and I should definitely go after him. In that context, I was like, okay, that animal makes sense. But all the other ones, I don't know if I could really get on board with that. And even with the kaiju, I was like, really, dude? Like, if you were to save this, if you were to add extra time to try and euthanize or sort of like harbor this creature away from the city, imagine how much time that's going to allow even more people to potentially get hurt in the crossfire. So that's where I was a little frustrated.
Look, he wanted to collect the kaiju to add to his zoo. I don't blame him.
Fair.
Look at the cost of admissions for that. Like, he's trying to build his own Jurassic Park right there.
You make a very fair point. I definitely agree with you. It's just something maybe in the context of the purpose of the film, establishing him as the golden child of how heroism is meant to be reflected on the world versus how it works in practically. That's where I hope that, future content expands upon. And him being challenged by Lex, him being challenged by Lois, I would hope that in later iterations of his character as he gets older, he is seeing he's only in his third year, so I can probably, forgive him up to a point. But yeah, I really do hope that, as he gets more tenured and working alongside other heroes and seeing, how heroism isn't just black and white, there is like, a wider spectrum of how just like, being a good person isn't just like one way. Being a hero isn't just defined by one way. You can only do so much. You can't save every life. He may be impacted severe, like, in a significant way where a life is lost that, he probably, regrets not being there for, or something like that, where it's a huge, like, momentous moment for him that I'm hoping happens that really confronts him in a way that he can't, walk away in a huff just from being asked a tough question by Lois. He actually is confronted by a challenge that he needs to navigate and grow from. So that's what I'm hoping will happen in the future.
It brings up you bring up something that someone that we haven't really talked that much about, and because we're talking about heroism and through the lens of black and white, someone that I feel that did really shine also in this film. But I'm hoping that, like, because again we know it's very unclear what's going to happen to this other film, but the engineer, like Maria, was amazing, because I could you could tell like this is someone who she didn't feel like phony. She didn't feel like just a one-dimensional villain, or like a henchman for Lex. Like she probably honest to God felt like I'm here and doing the right thing. And now but we see many times in the film that she's like, y'all, this bitch is crazy. Like, we can't work for this man. Like, he is nuts. So I kind of hope I like that she was kind of a little bit of a gateway through that concept, and I'm hoping that. Again, I don't know what the latest rumors are now about the authority these days. Like some just first it's animations, now it's like it's not happening at all. I can't keep up, but I'm hoping that that's something that if we're introducing additional characters in our hero story that we kind of know more definitely where they're going next, because I know James has talked about it a lot this year that the 40 has been tricky to figure out, and I just hope that we don't have to wait for too long until we see someone like Angela again, because I thought she stood out a lot. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought going in, I was so excited to see Engineer. I knew she was, going to just, be wrecking stuff, and I was hoping to see more of that as well. I think in the marketing, we saw the baseball stadium scene, we saw, the Fortress of Solitude scene, the transformation or the nanites that she's able to manipulate and kind of turn into weapons and even infiltrate, the information system, whatever, in Fortress of Solitude. The fact that she can manipulate her body to turn into anything that she can imagine, I would have loved to see her go toe-to-toe with Metamorpho, because he can kind of do the same thing, more or less. I would be like, that would have been an amazing sort of sequence. Like, where is that? That's like, something that makes sense to see, as far as like two beings with, similar but very different, manners of, generating self-defense and offense would have, responded to one another. So that would have been really awesome to see between them.
Now, if anyone else wants to jump on like things that they kind of would like to see improved for like future Superman installments, Alex, like again, we talked about Lex before, but was there something else that you kind of like, if we get I didn't prefer this as much, but if we do get more of this, I'm hoping that it will be of that, if that makes sense.
Well, everyone's touched upon some of the point I wanted to raise. We've already spoken about really the planet, but then also just with Clark himself, just growing as a character, and just hopefully not acting upon or seeing the world as a black and white. But things I like to see for Superman film, like moving forward, since Gunn has now fully committed to creating the DCU as just a full-on lived-in comic. I would love to see them to go off-world. Maybe go see Mogul or something like that. Just like go somewhere different and see how far we can go. It's just something a little pie in the sky. Thank you.
No, I think that would be really sick, actually, because I feel like like whenever like superhero movies go off-world, it's always like mostly in the team up movies. But like a Superman movie sequel, like where he goes he goes deal with Mongol, or with heck, like let him go fight Lobo. Well, we know, like it would be that would be sick. What about you, Cole? What were some things that in this film that maybe didn't work as well, that you hope that can be evolved as we go forward?
I do think they should develop the Kryptonian plot a little bit more, and that's going to happen with Supergirl. I mean, we have Zor-El, probably plenty of flashbacks with Supergirl in that movie. I would like to see Gunn's sequel being Superman and Supergirl. I think that would be pretty fitting. Villain Brainiac, maybe. Maybe he had something to do with the message kind of being deceived wrong or something. I'm not totally against the way that they started handling it in the film. I just want to see it more explained and more like explanations of who Kryptonians truly are in this universe.
Yeah, because with Jorah, like he's a very tricky character, because again, like I know we alluded to it before, but like there's been times where he has gone off the rails quite a lot. I got introduced to the idea of someone like Jor-El being like kind of an antagonist for the DC universe in some ways, even for Small, because like there were times throughout the show where like, why are we supposed to be happy that Clark is reunited with his biological? Well, it's not technically his biological dad; it's an AI version of his dad. But yeah, like it's definitely
Smallville swung for the fences, and we love it so much.
Yeah. I'm just realizing that Bradley Cooper is Jor-El, and I'm still like, that was the one thing. Like, I came out and I was like, I don't know, I don't hate it, but I have to see more because it was very cool hearing him speaking Kryptonese. Because it's always cool when like that language gets to be used in media and not just in text. I was kind of like, you don't cast Bradley Cooper and just have it be like a hologram. Like there has to be something more.
I
guess
hope
he
he's
was
in
also
Supergirl.
one. I guess he was one of the Superman robots as well. I wasn't paying too much, attention
that's
to
what
the voices to
James
really
said,
tell.
right?
Yeah.
No, it was
Yeah.
a misquote from James because he mentioned that Bradley Cooper is in it, but then he segues to the robot voices with Palm and Rooker. So he didn't explicitly said that Bradley was a robot voice. So
Okay.
it was just a misquote, and I think I was discussing film who threw it out there first and kind of screwed that up.
I love Gary.
Gary.
Aw,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Julian.
So
for
I guess
you, no,
I guess that name's gonna stick. Sorry.
but he better.
the
Like,
ga-
he's been named.
Whoa.
What is he going to name the other robots?
I'm like wondering too. I'm just like, for a robot who claims that they're not sentient at all, you sure know a lot about feelings and caring about people.
He watches soap. He watches soap operas. I think if the other robots should get any names, I think we should call them Jerry and Joe. That's just.
What
That's
about
nice.
Palm? Palm's voice, or I guess she's dead, right?
So there's like
Robot?
20 plus robots, and then they're all named Gary and Joe. They're
No.
alternating the-
I think we should. No, not. I'm,
Okay, so
I like Gary and
Joe.
robot number 5, and then
I mean, at least 2 of the 2 robots should be named Jerry and Joe. And then maybe we could have like one could be called Mark after Mark Wade. One could be called, Jeff after Jeff John. One could be called Grant after Grant Morrison. One could be, because like I always like love when they honored the comics people, put it in for because we have so much to thank comic book writers for the Superman legacy that we do have. But Julian, I want to ask you now, what there's something about this film that didn't work, but that you would want to see maybe an improvement on in a future Superman movie?
It's not that it didn't work. I just want a lot more Lois and Clark scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a ton more.
That's
Like we had a ton of Superman scenes, but I want more of Clark. I want to see him at the Daily Planet. I want to see him as a reporter. I want to see him with Lois. That I hope they can expand on in the next movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, like if there's anything else y'all want to touch upon, feel free. So this is a open discussion for everything.
Theory time.
I'm sorry.
Theory time for the rest of the chapter.
Scary time. Wait, what am I saying?
Theory time.
Barry time. Sure.
Gary.
No, theory time.
Oh,
Theories. Theories. Okay.
Yeah.
Theories. Okay. What fears do you have,
So
young Cole?
I think since James is very adamant that Lanterns relates to Superman, I think the reason why Oa is kind of telling Hal and John to go to the Midwest is because maybe one of the pocket dimensions is opening up or something like that. And then maybe like characters are coming out that they have to kind of suppress and deal with. I don't know, but I feel like the conflict that's happening with Lanterns since James said that it relates to Superman will be a pocket dimension, but I'm not sure.
What about you, Alex?
For theory time?
Oh, Gary time. We can go either. Sorry, I really thought you said Gary time first goals. I'm sorry.
I honestly
We
thought
should
you
do
did.
Gary time
now
after.
I'm going to be thinking about Gary. He had a cracked skull.
actually
was
said
stabbing
Gary
stabbing
time?
his head with a screwdriver. He may have awoken Brainiac.
Ooh.
I'm just throwing it out there. Just shoot
I mean, listen, I listen. Like, I'm so ready for Brainiac. I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to be surprised when we see Brainiac because, we've had really good takes on Brainiac on television. We've never seen him in film, so I don't even want to know when he's coming. Like, I just if they could keep it a secret, like we don't know that he's the villain for something, we don't know who's playing him. That just we get to a future movie and Superman's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm the brain interactive construct, bitch." I don't know, something like that. Rhea, what are some of your theories from what you saw in this film? What do you think is a possible fear that could be coming to fruition?
Yeah, I think Legion of Doom. So with Lex going to Belle Reve, like they specifically say, yeah, get his bald ass over to like Belle Reve, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, like we're gonna see him, recruit some, some friends, and they're gonna come back, bigger and badder than ever. So yeah, I think that will be something we can speculate on.
How about a scene with Viola Davis and Leigh?
Ooh.
Well, okay, so what do y'all think about Rick Flag being like a senator, or not senator, but like just sort of like a general who has some say at the Pentagon? Because
that was a fast promotion after the Creature Commandos.
Right?
Well, he did have to put up with Frankenstein
and he's the
Clayface.
But isn't he still kind of
but
running, or isn't he still sort of like in charge of the what is it, I forget what they're called,
Project Monsters?
Yes, yeah, that part. Creature Commandos. Isn't he still sort of like the babysitter for them? Because at the end of season 2, like he didn't really go anywhere, right?
Well, I think it's similar to like Rick Flag Jr.'s role, in the fact that he's like kind of in the military or government, and then he'll come in and grab some monsters for like a Suicide Squad / Creature Commandos type team if they're on a mission. I think
there was this moment too where he's speaking with, I'm assuming some senator in towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and the guy alludes to like, oh yeah, like now the world is going to be ruled by metahumans or something, or like metahumans aren't going to have to answer to anyone. And he kind of has this like introspective or sort of like he ponders on that statement a little bit, and he looks up, and I'm like, yeah, like Flag, what are your thoughts on that? Because you work with metahumans for a living, and like are you like on the same page? Are you like wondering like like what could happen? What are the repercussions of just trusting that the metahumans that you're working with will remain your allies when you need their help, and there won't be any instance where you have to defend yourself against them. So maybe he's kind of thinking about that in the long run. I'm not sure, but it did seem like he had a concerned face, or just sort of like, this guy's right, like metahumans, they are a threat, like what would we do if that was the case, where the world and just the way the world works and is ran is determined by metahumans, like what would happen, so it seemed like if I had to like infer what was going on in his brain, that's kind of like how I would kind of think that he's going to be confronted with that again in the future.
I think that look that we see at the end is more he's torn, because I think he is, because I remember when I interviewed Frank Grillo a couple for Creature season 1, one of the things I actually asked him was like, how used is he to the meta human concept and the fantastical and everything, and so, and I like this, it's based on his answer, it seems like he's gone through a lot of it. So like I think he's a little more torn of like, I can demonize all of them because I know there's good metahumans out there, but how do I protect the ones that I know are not going to harm the world, and how do I actually protect the world for the ones who will hurt society? So again, that was one of the things we were talking about before, of Clark seeing the world in a very black and white way, where maybe this is not just something Superman has to work on, but something like Rick Flag has to work on as well. maybe that will be something we see in Peacemaker season 2 when he's dealing with chasing John Cena's ass, and at some point he's maybe has an epiphany of like, but what do I think about metahumans? We'll see. And then he starts running after Peacemaker again and something like that. Julian, what fear sparked your mind after seeing this film that you think may happen in the DCU?
I guess to bring it back to the engineer, I think Planet Watch would ultimately become Stormwatch and kind of lead into the Authority.
That's the name. That's what I was looking for, the name of their little squad.
I just think this seems like a fun thing to theorize about.
Yeah, I'm because you guys brought it up. I'm like, if Ultraman went to Bizarre World or Free, like, because I don't. This is the one thing I don't want to become too much of a concept of, that they can just keep making more Superman clones over and over and over again. I mean, like, unless it's Superboy, like, that's kind of where I wanted to stop. But like, I don't want that plot device fixes where they're like, oh, we have so much of his DNA that we can just make our own David Corns whenever we want. So that's why I kind of hope we get to follow. We started with a character who's very mindless, and now we get to see like what happened on the other side when he went in. So, who knows?
In a way, it does kind of tee up Connor.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Because introducing cloning, I don't know.
I just don't want too many clones. Like, I don't want, like, I don't need,
yeah.
We
don't need like 100 Superman clones.
Yeah, like, I spent 9 seasons with a lot of Tom Cavanaughs. I love Tom Cavanaugh, but there was just a little one too many sometimes. So I feel like let's just kind of apply, not apply that for DCU, but gang, any closing thoughts on James Gunn's Superman and the beginning? Do we want to do rating? Do we want to do something like that, or any final thoughts anyone wants to share is up to you. Julian, you can kick us off.
9 out of 10. Yeah, I think it was a fun movie.
Cole?
I originally had it at an 8.5. I think after rewatch, I'll have it at a 9. And the DCU is here.
Alex?
I had it originally like around like a 7.8, but with the rewatch, it's at an 8.5, and honestly, the DCU looks great.
Rhea?
I think after my second watch, I'm at a 6.5, just because I see the potential of where we're going, but we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair. I like that. I've only had, I only saw it today, and so I've only seen it once, but like, based on like how I felt leaving that theater, I'm like, it's a 9 out of 10 for me as well. Definitely room for improvement of some things, but like, again, this is the win we needed. This was the start we needed. Again, like, everyone's right now talking about like, how much does this need to make it the box office, whatever. So like right now, like, that pressure now feels like it's gone. Like, like this is gonna be doing fine enough where this universe is not going away anytime soon. And that's gonna be one of the fun things with these two podcasts is chatting with all you guys who's watching live. You guys here on the panel about so much that's coming down the road for DC Studios. And again, this is like, look what the creation of one studio was able to do for this brand that we needed so many. We talked about it on Real Anarchy last week, that we needed these studios from the very beginning. We didn't need DC Films Division. We needed DC Studios as its own entity. And like, look what happens when we get to put the right people in charge. And also, people keep talking about, why is a creative filmmaker co-CEO? Like, why not? Like, what are these other CEOs that are in charge? Just what have they done lately? Like, they're just thinking about the money. They're not thinking about the story. They're not thinking about the potential. They just think about dollar signs. So, but we're gonna probably have so much to talk about Superman, in the future to come. So for you guys watching, there'll be plenty more to discuss. But I want to thank everyone who's been on here. I want to thank Ben. I want to thank Craig, who was on it before. And I want to go around the horn of just you guys can promote yourselves and where people can find you. And yeah, so Julian, first of all, thank you for joining. Where can people find you on social media and anything else you want to plug?
Oh shit. YouTube, Instagram. I guess that's it. Under the Julian Bell.
Oh shit, that's the first time I ever heard anyone say "oh shit" to me telling them like, "Where can they find you?" But cool. Cole, first of all, it was first of all fun having you on the podcast. Also getting to see, the man behind the home DCU. So where we can find you on social media, anything else you'd like to plug?
I'm not gonna say X. I hate that name, but I'm on Twitter at Home of DCU. I'm on other platforms like Instagram, not as active as much, but you can mainly find me on Twitter.
And Alex, I'm so glad we finally got to do something podcast way. Like, we were talking so much during the Flash, and hopefully we will do more of it. So where can we tell people if they don't know about DC Film News, Nexus Point, tell them about it. Where can they find you? Anything else you'd like to promote?
Yeah, no, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and also Threads for anything and everything DC. If you're interested in learning things outside of that on Marvel, A24, or just like anything on just film and television, you can follow us at Nexus Point News. And other than that, it's just great being with all you guys, especially with Cole. Like, we've had this great relationship, like, as being DC accounts online for so many years that we've always kept a great, supportive relationship, and just seeing him grow, it's been phenomenal. And also with Julian, like, some of the old Flash edits that we did on Flash Film News couldn't have been done without him.
Aww.
So I just want to thank you again, especially with that rebrand that we did to become DC Film News. We couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, you're too kind to me, Keen. Thank you.
I remember
you're
the
the
day.
king. You're the one who did that.
I remember the day when you announced that you were shutting it down, and
we almost lost the account when we did that.
Really?
Wait,
yeah, because
you told me you were rebranding. You didn't.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. We had a whole dramatic thing that we wanted to do. So the plan was to shut down for a day or 2 days, and then we were gonna pick it back up. So originally it was gonna be a shutdown for 24 hours, and then it will become a DC Film News. So once we shut it down, we made the mistake of changing our profile photo and our header to black it out. Because under the new Twitter rules, if you change your profile, now it's under review. So when we try to change our name, we already did the switcheroo. We couldn't. So DC Film and also Flash Film News was out in the wild for a couple days. So we had to reacquire those names quickly. And thank God I had someone who I knew who worked in Twitter just to ensure that didn't get lost. So it turned into 3 days of just being in the dark, and that wasn't planned, but actually it worked out in the end. But yeah,
I'm gagged. I didn't know this because I was kind of I remember I'm like, damn, he's is it a time to announce it? I'm like, he's probably busy with stuff working.
I was losing hair during that time.
Oh my god, I honestly God that you would the reviewer account if you just.
Mm-hmm.
Elon, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna start ranting about him. Rhea, again, it's been so much fun working with you, and again, we're about to do so much more. And but it's also finally, it's great that we've been on streams before, Rhea, but we get to be on this context, so it's been so much fun hearing about your take on Superman. And again, it's good. We have so much more to discuss. So where can people find you on social media? Anything else you like to promote?
Yeah, you can find me at Glimmering Harpy. That's pretty much my common handle on YouTube and TikTok and X/Twitter. So I'm really fortunate to be able to work with Andy and be able to cover a whole gambit of comic book movie news. I love being able to cover horror and A24 stuff, even though like, it's all experimental as far as like figuring out, what people respond to. And it's great for me as a learning experience. So if you're interested in like a bunch of forms of media, thank you to Andy and his brand Multiverse of Color, and Vanessa, his partner.
Vanessa, we love Vanessa. Yeah,
you've given me so much, positive feedback, so many like fun pop culture related ideas to work with as well that I wouldn't have been able to cover otherwise. So it's enriching for me, and it's fun to just be able to make these shorts for everyone to kind of get like a quick overview of the news too, and challenging for me to try and like condense it into like under 60 seconds.
She does it great. I could never, because I like to talk a lot. My ego is that big. I will admit that. So it's no, but it's been. I love you all guys too so much. I love that you guys are not like me with the big ego, because it can work sometimes it cannot, but no, I've been fortunate to, and this is what I love about this space. I've known Alex for the last like 4 or 5 years now, for the Flash, and like getting to work with him every once in a while, working with Cole and working with Julian, now working with Ray. Like this is what online community should be all about. There's space for all of us, like we can all exist and love these things together. And I think that at the end of the day, as we enter this thing that we're so passionate about now, like we lift each other up, we have fun with it together. And if there's people who don't want to be part of it, then they can stay in their basements, or whatever whatever rocks they live under. It's perfectly fine. It's all good. But otherwise, be part of the positivity and be part of the fun. And if there's one takeaway from Superman, is that's it. Like united we strong. So there you go. You can find me at Animaback on all social media. I am a senior writer for Screen Rant, so you can find all my content there. I'm also editor-in-chief of multiverseofcolor.com, which the channel you're watching right now. So we're gearing up for San Diego Comic-Con, which is like, I feel like it's like still like a month away, but I'm like, nope, it's July. It's July now. We have to think about this now. So look forward to that. And yeah, you'll catch me here on these studios podcasts whenever we go live. But yeah, if you want to find the podcast, this version of the podcast will be up on the audio feeds later this weekend, and you can follow, check the description for where you can find all of these guys, and also where you can find the podcast and Multiverse of Color, and go hit the follow, hit the subscribe, the like, the insert terms that I'm supposed to say when promoting subscription stuff. Smash that like button, hit us with a W, I don't know, Gen Z stuff. That's why Julian and Cole were here, because they could probably just, fill in for it. But for anyone who's tuning in, fingers, I hope you enjoyed Superman. Let us know what you thought about the Superman movie in the comments below, and we will have more discussion about Superman and the DC coming forward. So for all of us here, for Vanessa, we're gonna make sure we all get back to soon and talk about more DC stuff. But for everyone here, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend. Go see Superman again. If you know what, go support theaters. If you want to see Superman again, go and see it right now. It's summer break.
The summer of Superman.
The summer of Superman, and we will see you on the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
I cannot find this. The streamer has changed so much. There we go. Hold on.